Vol 2, Chapter 121, Christmas Gift Bag. Star Wars: The Fourth Scourge. In a swift and decisive move, Super Lotus shot forward like a bolt of lightning, seizing Yuri's wrist, delivering a swift kick to his ankle, and twisting his arm behind his back. Yuri screamed in pain as he was forcefully pushed to the ground by her. "I'm sorry. I'm not interested in online dating, nor am I keen on pursuing any other kind of relationship," she stated firmly. Hey, let go. Let go. I was wrong. Yuri Olaf pleaded desperately for mercy. Reluctantly, Qiao Lotus released him. Rubbing his wrist, Yuri managed a grin and activated his communicator. "Vitali, Sai. Yes, it's me, Yuri. Haha, Sai. Nothing major, just twisted my waist a bit. You Santa, it's time to move. Remember, we're going for a spree this time, got it? A full-on spree." In the harsh desert outside the planet Tatooine, a group of more than a dozen people found respite in a small oasis. They huddled together under the limited shade provided by the only two green plants in sight, trying their best to shield themselves from the relentless sun. The village we raided earlier only yielded 20 rations and 8 bottles of drinking water. "We need to identify our next target soon," Broderick Stone said, passing a bottle of water to Magton Scar, who was seated next to him. Scar took a cautious sip of the water before passing it to the others. Wiping the sweat from his brow, he remarked, "This supply won't last us long, but we've already plundered the surrounding villages. If we keep loitering in this area, it's only a matter of time before Jabba's men pinpoint our location. Our only option might be to try our luck at the spaceport, though the guards there are likely to be formidable," Broderick Stone suggested, pointing to a location on the map. "Brother, perhaps we should return to Ghidorah and request a new supply drop," Magton Scar proposed. Gravel scoffed at the idea. Ghidorah's first instinct was to disavow us to save her own skin. Now, if we go back, with what dignity shall we face her? "Then what's our next move?" Scar inquired, looking around at their eager faces. For over 3 months, they had been scavenging and raiding across the deserts of Tatooine. From an original group of more than 50, only a little over 10 remained. During this grueling period, they had mostly survived on ammunition and supplies previously stashed by Yuri. Later, Yuri's brother, Vitali Orlov, had also covertly delivered several supply drops. However, he never showed up in person, merely sending the coordinates to their T-850, Jason Statham, who then relayed the information to Broderick Gravel for retrieval. These were their darkest days. Ghidorah was a lost cause, Jabba was eager to flay them alive, and escaping the clutches of Tatooine seemed an impossible feat. Yet they had persevered, driven by sheer willpower. But now they were reaching their breaking point. Gravel looked into the determined eyes of his comrades, his resolve wavering momentarily. Among them, his brother Scar was known for his ferocity, while Gravel himself was considered the more level-headed. This balance often placed the burden of making critical decisions on Gravel's shoulders. He knew the weight of his next words could mean life or death for his brothers. "Let's take the spaceport. If we're to die, we'll die together as brothers," Gravel declared, a fiery determination igniting within him. "Yes! Let's fight! Charge! Roar!" The group roared in unison, ready to face their fate head-on. "I suggest we wait," came the calm, flat voice of Jason Statham, cutting through the fervor. All eyes turned towards him. Throughout their ordeal, Jason Statham had not only led them to numerous supply caches, but had also repeatedly saved them with his robust frame and superior combat skills. If not for his robotic nature, Jason Statham might have even challenged Broderick Gravel's leadership. However, Jason Statham typically remained silent, following orders without question. This sudden initiative to speak out was unprecedented. "What do you have in mind, Jason?" Scar asked, his voice tinged with curiosity. Jason turned his head, the electronic eyes beneath his roughly welded helmet flickering with an unreadable expression. Eyes flashing scarlet, he exclaimed, "Santa, here he is." "Santa Claus!" Scar's spirits instantly soared. "You mean Yuri? He's here? What's he coming for?" "Santa, of course, brought Christmas presents," Jason replied. "Can he take us off this forsaken planet?" Scar asked, hope flickering in his eyes. "I don't think so," Jason said, then fell silent. Scar and the others exchanged glances and slowly sat back down, though their gaze remained fixed on the robot standing in the blazing sun, its body radiating heat. About an hour later, just as their patience was wearing thin, a light drizzle began to fall from the sky. For those who had been enduring the desert's scorching heat for days, nothing could be more welcome. Water! There's water! A Gamorrean shouted joyfully, rushing out to catch the rain with his tongue. It doesn't rain on Tatooine, Broderick Gravel remarked, raising his hand to shield his eyes as he scanned the sky. Soon, he spotted a YV-865 Oro-class cargo ship descending. Vitaly Olov stood at the open hatch, wielding a water hose, laughing heartily as he sprayed water down. Ha! If it can't snow, then let it rain! Ha! The group rushed out to collect water, creating a chaotic scene. However, Broderick Gravel merely stood there, gazing at the sky with a cold expression. The cargo ship circled in the air before landing gently. Come on, eat and drink. Everything's on me, Vitaly announced, opening his arms wide to the group. The burly spaceship pilot, Glory Judith, stepped out and positioned herself like a protective barrier behind him. Several B-1 battle droids disembarked and began unloading boxes of compressed biscuits and jars of water. The outlaws dove into the provisions, feasting eagerly. Broderick Gravel, however, refrained from eating or drinking. He approached Vitaly and stated coldly, "Take us out of here." "Heh, leave? Oh, you want more friends," Vitaly taunted, confidence bolstered by his trump card. "Santa Claus only delivers gifts and does not provide passenger services." Click! Gravel picked up a Type 21 assault rifle with one hand, pressed it directly against Vitaly's forehead, and said slowly, "I said, take us. Leave. Now." For those eager to continue the adventure in Star Wars The Fourth Calamity, you can find the latest chapters and more at the provided links. Remember to bookmark your current chapter for easy access next time. If you're enjoying Star Wars The Fourth Calamity, consider sharing it with your friends. Your support is greatly appreciated. Vol 2, Chapter 1 and 22, Scourge. Star Wars The Fourth Scourge. Vitaly raised his hands in a gesture of peace, yet his voice carried a hint of irony as he spoke. Are you really considering shooting the only person in the entire galaxy who has offered you help? Gravel, with a tone of desperation, replied, "Do whatever you want with me. But as of this moment, I'm leaving this god-forsaken place." As Gravel motioned with his gun, Scar and the others discarded their food and water, immediately forming a protective circle around their comrades. They drew their weapons, aiming them at Vitaly and Judith. Witnessing this act of solidarity, Vitaly couldn't hide his admiration. "Oh, the bonds of brotherhood," he mused, visibly moved by their willingness to prioritize their comrades over their basic needs. He continued, "I didn't come here to send you away. Rather, I've come to rescue you from this hell." "What are you proposing?" Gravel asked, his voice laced with suspicion. Vitaly explained, "Gadula hired you for a hefty sum to carry out a mission on Tatooine. You completed the task, but were left unpaid and pursued by Jabba. When Gadula found himself in danger, his first instinct was to sever ties with you." Upon hearing this, Gravel and his companion's eyes blazed with anger. "But we're different," Vitaly quickly added. "When you couldn't afford heavy weaponry in Tatooine, we supplied you with it. When you planned to rob the Banta night race, we provided the firepower. While you wandered the desert, we sent Jason Statham to assist you, continuously delivered supplies, and guided you to safety. Your kindness will forever be etched in my heart. Should you ever need anything, just say the word," Magton Scar declared. Vitaly smirked. "Whether you remember or not is up to you. What matters is recognizing who truly stands by you. And now," he gestured towards Judith, "an opportunity for redemption has arrived." A peculiar hum emanated from the cargo hold, followed by the sound of engines roaring to life. The cargo door swung open, revealing a monstrous off-road vehicle that rolled out, followed by 4 more. Each vehicle, measuring 12 meters in length, boasted heavy armor and a robust suspension system, topped with a remote-controlled dual-mounted 6-barreled cannon. The sheer sight of these vehicles captivated Gravel and his group. It was clear these were machines designed for desert warfare. "Behold, the Pathfinder-class light attack vehicle," Vitaly announced, patting the wheel that towered nearly as tall as a man. "Engineered for desert operations, it can reach speeds of up to 110 kilometers per hour on soft sand. Each vehicle is valued at 50,000 credits. You cunning businessman, how do you expect us to afford this now?" Scar exclaimed, brandishing his weapon. Vitali calmly responded, I never intended to charge you for these. They are a continuation of the support I've provided. We just want to escape this place, Gravel reiterated, emphasizing his point for the third time. Work for us, and you'll have all the equipment and supplies you need. Besides, don't you seek vengeance? Don't you wish to confront Jabba, the one who has driven you to this plight? Vitali countered. We lack the means and power to confront a Hutt, Gravel admitted. But Ghidorah can, Vitali interjected, turning to face them. The atmosphere chilled as he spoke. What are you suggesting? That we continue to serve Ghidorah? Ghidorah's sole advantage, her unique position, is that she is a Hutt. Beyond that, she offers nothing. Yet that is precisely what you need to survive on Tatooine, Vitali explained, gently removing the gun from Gravel's grasp. Remember who has been good to you. Gravel, finally relenting, lowered his weapon and asked, What's your plan? For now, continue with your current endeavors. Wait for Ghidorah to come to you, seeking your help, Vitali proposed, outlining the beginnings of a plan that promised not just survival, but a chance at turning the tables on their dire situation. It's that simple? Yes, it's that simple. You excel at fighting, smashing, and looting. In a few days, I will send over 5 more vehicles, making a total of 10 Pathfinder-class attack vehicles. With these, you'll have the power to turn the world upside down. How does that sound? What about ammunition and supplies? Can you guarantee those? Crushed Stone inquired further. Absolutely no problem. We can now support your supply needs to expand your team to 50 people. However, we can't provide live weapons like the Type 21 assault rifle for the time being. Those have become a bit too conspicuous since you robbed the Banta night race, Vitali explained. As they spoke, B-1 battle droids continued to unload dozens of EE-3 blaster rifles from the spaceship. These rifles had previously been seized by Tang Xiao from the space station of the terrorist organization Bondo Goza. Broderick Gravel's gaze shifted to the robots. Is the trade union or the Interstellar Banking Association backing you? Neither. We just have some business dealings with them, Vitali clarified. And you're so certain I'll agree to work for you? The choice is simple. By working with us, you get your revenge and a chance to become the overlord of Tatooine. But if you leave Tatooine now, not only will Jabba hunt you for life, but what kind of life would you be returning to? Would it be better than having such powerful weapons at your disposal? Vitali posed the question. Gravel's expression darkened. If you can guarantee the supplies, then we have a deal. Also, I want more robots like Jason Statham. Unfortunately, our factory doesn't have the capacity to produce a complex and low-profit robot like the T-850 at the moment. However, we can send excellent soldiers to join your ranks, Vitali offered. Broderick Stone's lips curled into a sinister smile. So, I really do have a chance to dominate Tatooine? If you're capable, that's exactly what we've planned, Vitali replied. Then, let's do it. Gravel turned sharply and called out to his comrades behind him. Brothers, let's overthrow Jabba, become the kings of Tatooine. Roar! Kill Jabba! Ah! The Boza, Gammo, and Nikto erupted in wild laughter, picking up their guns and firing into the sky. Vitali added, By the way, our boss has one more thing to say. From today, your name is Scourge. For a more immersive reading experience and to follow the journey of Scourge, visit the following links. Latest chapter of Star Wars: The Fourth Calamity. Full text of Star Wars: The Fourth Calamity. Star Wars: The Fourth Calamity TXT download. Mobile reading of Star Wars: The Fourth Calamity. Remember to bookmark this chapter for easy access in your next reading session. If you enjoyed Star Wars: The Fourth Calamity, consider recommending it to your friends through QQ, blogs, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Vol 2, Chapter 123, The Black Pirate. Star Wars: The Fourth Scourge. In the vast expanse of outer space near the planet Tatooine, a Hammerhead-class cruiser emerged from hyperspace with a burst of white light. This cruiser, unlike any typical Hammerhead class, was painted entirely in black. Its engines had been significantly modified, and the hangar platform in the middle of the hull was noticeably enlarged. Were it not for its iconic hammer-shaped bow, one might not recognize it as a Hammerhead-class cruiser at all. This transformation was so thorough that it bore little resemblance to the dilapidated Hammerhead-class cruiser from Iron Fang Kuken. The difference in treatment between ships that fall into the hands of small pirate workshops and those under the care of a fourth civilization with complete industrial capabilities was stark. Now, the Iron Teeth, as the cruiser was still called, had undergone a transformation akin to a rural girl marrying into wealth, reborn anew. Prominently displayed on the cruiser was a white skull pattern, flanked by an array of weapons including longswords, warhammers, axes, daggers, flails, and spears, each adorned with hideous skulls. Beneath this fearsome emblem, the words Scourge Army were inscribed, making the cruiser stand out conspicuously. Upon its arrival near Tatooine, the cruiser immediately caught the attention of nearby bounty hunter spacecraft. Several ships quickly approached. "Hey, the spaceship ahead. State your intentions and purpose. Lower your shields and submit to inspection," a bounty hunter demanded over the public channel, his voice laced with authority. Under normal circumstances, he wouldn't dare challenge a cruiser of this caliber, but on Tatooine, under the protection of the Hutts, the bounty hunters felt emboldened. However, the cruiser remained silent and stationary after exiting hyperspace. Inside the captain's office of the Hammerhead-class cruiser, Captain Volgograd Kennedy stood in front of a mirror, meticulously shaving his beard to leave only a mustache and a goatee, which made him appear much younger. Despite the bridge's alarm sounding, he paid it no mind. After grooming, he donned a crisp captain's uniform, transforming his appearance into that of a distinguished soldier in the prime of his career. But he didn't stop there. Over his uniform, he layered body armor, meticulously securing each cord and buckle. He added bulletproof shin guards, shoulder guards, and arm guards, then further reinforced the armor with light alloy plates for increased defense. After equipping himself thoroughly, Kennedy took a deep breath, placed a steel helmet on his head, and admired his reflection. The once imposing figure was now encased in layers of protection, but Kennedy nodded in satisfaction. Finally, he topped the ensemble with a captain's white wide-brimmed hat and made his way to the bridge with heavy steps. Upon reaching the bridge door, the raucous voices of the Gnoll Buka and his comrades could be heard. Wiping sweat from his brow, Kennedy steeled himself and entered. Boom! 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 Kennedy's armored presence commanded attention as he stepped onto the bridge. Buka, the Gnoll, charged towards him with a ferocity that seemed to threaten consumption. Kennedy instinctively recoiled, but the layers of armor provided a semblance of security, preventing him from fleeing. "Captain, we're being challenged. They demand an inspection. Kill, kill! I'm ready to fight!" Buka roared, his eyes blazing with the prospect of battle. Kennedy, now fully armored and prepared, faced his crew with a determination that belied his protective shell. The confrontation with the bounty hunters was imminent, but the Iron Teeth and its crew were no ordinary opponents. The stage was set for a confrontation that would demonstrate the true mettle of the Black Pirate and his fearsome vessel. "Destroy them!" Buka's voice was sharp with fury, echoing loudly across the bridge. Despite his anger, he adhered to Tang Xiao's directive, refraining from sending any unauthorized messages that could sow confusion. Instead, he vented his frustration by loudly cursing. After 3 months of training together, a certain level of understanding had developed among them. However, Kennedy struggled with his own reservations. Taking a deep breath, Kennedy addressed the bounty hunters who were aggressively suggesting they be sunk on the spot. "First, we'll inform Jabba of our actions, then we'll make it clear that we're allies." Buka, however, was not easily persuaded. Seizing Kennedy's arm, his sharp claws screeching against the alloy, he protested, "Buka wants to kill them. Pirates must show no mercy. They've pushed us too far. It's time to show them our strength. Kill them first, then we'll report to Jabba." After a moment's consideration, Kennedy saw the logic in Buka's argument and agreed. "All right. Eliminate all the bounty hunters who insulted us. I'll handle the communication with Jabba." The gnolls on the bridge erupted into cheers, their roars chilling and ferocious, reminiscent of a pack of wolves in a frenzied dance. Their feathers bristled, and their lidless eyes widened menacingly. They charged towards the hangar, inadvertently crushing a B-1 robot handyman in their path. Buka, showing a hint of restraint, didn't pilot a fighter himself. Instead, he leaped towards the battleship's turret control, displacing the operator and taking control. His eyes, gleaming with anticipation, were fixed on the bounty hunter spaceship displayed on the screen. Meanwhile, the bounty hunters, observing the cruiser's inactivity, began to sense that something was amiss. "There's something wrong with this ship. We need to alert Lord Jabba immediately," one shouted. "Bring more reinforcements. This is a cruiser." As panic spread among them, the cruiser sprang into action. The hangar platform door slowly opened, revealing a light blue energy field against the cruiser's dark hull. "What are they planning? Are they inviting us in?" one bounty hunter speculated. But another quickly realized the danger. "Wait! The energy readings are spiking. They're preparing to attack." A ghastly face then appeared on the public frequency, its voice shrill with a mix of excitement and menace. "Death to you all." Simultaneously, more than a dozen black fighter jets emerged from the cruiser's hangar, ready for battle. For those eager to follow the unfolding chaos in Star Wars: The Fourth Calamity, you can find the latest chapters and more through the provided links. Remember to bookmark your place for easy access in the future, and if you've enjoyed this tale of space pirates and intergalactic conflicts, consider sharing it with friends on social media. Thank you for your support. Vol 2, Chapter 124, News of Betrayal. As the conflict escalated, the Hammerhead-class cruiser's bow main guns ignited with a fierce glow. Two turbo laser beams, red and unyielding, were unleashed, striking a Spitfire-class spacecraft directly ahead. The bounty hunters aboard were obliterated instantly, their screams lost in the void before they could even emerge. Following this, 18 ghost fighters, their hulls painted black and adorned with the menacing Scourge skeleton logo, descended upon their prey in a disorganized yet terrifying formation, reminiscent of a pack of wolves on the hunt. "Watch out for the fighter!" Boom! A bounty hunter's warning was cut short as his spaceship succumbed to a barrage of Gemini missiles. The explosion severed the communication, hurling his body into the cold expanse of space, towards Tatooine. "What kind of fighter? Run! Quick!" Panic set in among the bounty hunters. "Contact Lord Jabba! They're here to kill us!" In a desperate attempt to retaliate, the bounty hunters returned fire. However, their terror only deepened as they realized the fighters, despite their apparent lack of formation, exhibited exceptional agility and maneuverability, making them formidable adversaries in the air. "It's the military. These must be the military's new fighter jets." The uniform design and superior performance of the fighters led the bounty hunters to mistakenly believe they were facing a military force, instilling even greater fear in their hearts as they scattered in all directions. Meanwhile, aboard the cruiser Iron Fang, Kennedy was in communication with Jabba the Hutt. However, it wasn't Jabba himself who responded, but his protocol droid. "Tell Jabba we're here to assist him," Kennedy stated. "Oh, mighty Jabba has just been informed that you've destroyed 7 bounty hunter ships," the protocol droid corrected itself. "Do not concern yourself with the lives of these expendables. If they fall so easily to us, they are unworthy of the bounty," Kennedy remarked casually. "The wise Lord Jabba has stated that for every ship you destroy that is delivering supplies to Ghidorah, he will reward you with a bounty equivalent to 50% of the ship's cost," the protocol droid conveyed. "The wise Lord Jabba has spoken. A deal is made," Kennedy affirmed. Simultaneously, on the planet Sojourn, within the opulent palace of Black Godamask II, a confrontation was unfolding. "I've been informed that you contacted Jabba without authorization. You better have a good explanation. Tang Xiao, do not presume your recent successes have elevated you above me. I am your lord," He admonished Tang Xiao through a holographic projection. "Please allow me to explain, honorable lord." Tang Xiao began, only to be abruptly silenced by an invisible force constricting his neck. Despite the vast distance separating them, Darth Plagueis' immense dark side power effortlessly reached across the galaxy, manifesting as a tangible grip around Tang Xiao's throat. Struggling against the overwhelming force, Tang Xiao managed to gasp out, "Ghidorah has betrayed you." Darth Plagueis, momentarily taken aback by the revelation, loosened his grip, allowing Tang Xiao to collapse to the ground, gasping for air. "Explain, what has Ghidorah done?" Darth Plagueis demanded, his tone sharp yet intrigued. "My team has decrypted some of Bando Gossa's documents. It was Ghidorah who provided financial support to Bando Gossa's operatives," Tang Xiao revealed. "Are you certain?" Plagueis' demeanor shifted from anger to contemplation. Ghidorah constantly requests funds from me, yet she secretly colludes with Bando Gossa? Yes, Ghidorah's ultimate goal is to amass a significant sum of money to purchase weapons and hire mercenaries. Supporting Bando Gossa's operations aligns with her interests, Tang Xiao explained, shedding light on Ghidorah's betrayal and her intricate web of deceit. Tang Xiao addressed Das. Bando Gossa's operation doesn't require a significant amount of money. He then transmitted a file that had been processed by Sup, or Lotus. At this stage, Tang Xiao was careful not to let Darth Plagueis know everything. He wanted to control the flow of information, ensuring that only certain parts were deleted while the rest were modified accordingly. Upon reviewing the document, Darth Plagueis' expression darkened. Ghidorah, who gave you the audacity to defy me? The document contained records of communications and transactions between Ghidorah, the Black Sun, and Bando Gossa. It revealed that Ghidorah had provided funds and spaceships, with Black Sun overseeing operations. They were responsible for abducting individuals from remote planets in the galaxy's outer ring and delivering them to Bando Gossa, who then turned these kidnapped individuals into mindless servants for their use. It's clear that the dealing mentioned here involves transforming these people for Bando Gossa's purposes. And while the details are murky, the target is indeed you, my lord, Tang Xiao explained. Darth Plagueis, with a cold snort, fixed his gaze on Tang Xiao, suspicion evident in his voice. Are you concealing something? I haven't concealed anything, my lord, Tang Xiao replied calmly, his expression unchanged. Why would Ghidorah rebel against me? There's a piece of the puzzle missing. Black Sun, Bando Gossa, and Ghidorah. There's someone else pulling the strings behind them, Plagueis exclaimed. Tang Xiao thought to himself that the true puppeteer was Darth Plagueis' own apprentice, Darth Sidious, but he kept this to himself. Instead, he offered a different perspective. Perhaps Ghidorah simply doesn't want you to align with Jabba. She might deduce that you're only interested in the financial gains and influence from the Banta Eve Classic. It would be easier for you to support the victor of the Tatooine feud. Darth Plagueis scoffed. Such a naive and simplistic notion. It was unclear whether he was scolding Ghidorah, Tang Xiao, or both. This doesn't justify Ghidorah's actions. There's no advantage for her, not even for her survival, and it still doesn't explain the involvement of Black Sun and Bando Gossa. The critical piece of the puzzle was the planet Naboo, a detail Tang Xiao knew but realized Darth Plagueis would remain unaware of, thanks to the secrecy of his apprentices. Despite his internal criticisms, Tang Xiao maintained a respectful demeanor. Indeed, I hadn't considered that, my lord. I will devote myself to deeper study and aspire to possess even a fraction of your wisdom. For those interested in following this saga, Star Wars: The Fourth Calamity can be found at the provided links. Readers are encouraged to bookmark their progress for easy access in future sessions. If you've enjoyed Star Wars: The Fourth Calamity, consider sharing it with friends through social media or other platforms. Your support is greatly appreciated. Volume 2, Chapter 125, The Sith's Reward. Go check it out, Plagueis commanded with a hint of satisfaction in his voice. You've performed admirably this time. Your efforts have timely revealed Ghidorah's betrayal, though frankly, their schemes were far too inferior to even slightly perturb my connection with the Force, he chuckled with a sense of superiority. Your guidance has been invaluable, Tang Xiao responded with genuine respect. In light of your achievements, your warship will join forces with Jabba to intercept Ghidorah's spaceship. However, remember, I will not seek out Jabba unless he approaches me first, Darth Plagueis clarified. I appreciate your understanding, Tang Xiao replied, bowing slightly. As a reward for your service, Tang Xiao, I've facilitated the corporate registration of the Fourth Group. Rest assured, its affiliation with you remains confidential, Plagueis announced. Your support is greatly appreciated, Tang Xiao expressed his gratitude. Tell me, how many warships can you muster in 4 standard months? Plagueis inquired. We currently have 2 destroyer docks and a 3rd under construction, capable of building warships up to 150 meters. Additionally, we have 5 frigate docks with 3 more underway for vessels around 50 meters. There are also 5 fighter production lines, with another 5 in progress. Tang Xiao detailed. Based on our current pace, we expect to have 5 to 6 light destroyers, about 100 meters each, and 40 to 50 frigates, ranging from 30 to 40 meters, all capable of hyperspace travel within 4 months. Prepare your forces. In 4 months, you will be hired for a significant battle. Success will bring substantial rewards, Darth Plagueis declared. Yes, my lord, Tang Xiao responded, his loyalty unwavering. Aren't you curious about the location of this battle? Darth Plagueis suddenly asked. If my lord chooses not to disclose it, I shall not pry. My knowledge is limited to what you deem necessary to share, Tang Xiao replied, his own words sending a shiver down his spine. He refrained from asking further, aware of his ignorance regarding the impending conflict. The only battle involving large-scale warships in 34 BBY that came to mind was the Battle of Malastare Narrows. It marked a significant confrontation between the Trade Federation's fleet and the Republic's judicial forces. Although the Trade Federation faced a humiliating defeat, the battle set a dangerous precedent, demonstrating that corporations could challenge the Galactic Republic with military might. This event laid the groundwork for the subsequent blockade of Naboo. Darth Plagueis was delighted with Tang Xiao's response, bursting into laughter. Excellent! Your keen awareness of current affairs will undoubtedly secure you a place of importance in the future galaxy, he praised. It is my honor, my lord, Tang Xiao replied, his respect evident. Then, allow me to impart another force technique to you, Darth Plagueis offered, his excitement palpable. Tang Xiao listened intently, bowing in anticipation. Darth Plagueis raised his hand, and a green light coalesced within his palm. As you know, the dark side of the Force is aggressive, while the light side embodies peace. Jedi Masters can use the Force to heal, but traditionally Sith Lords cannot, he explained. Tang Xiao remained silent, absorbing every word. However, my research into the Force's nature has led to a breakthrough. By manipulating life's building blocks, I can create simple life forms and even heal wounds, Darth Plagueis revealed. At his command, Tang Xiao swiftly grabbed a shard from a shattered teacup and without hesitation sliced a deep gash in his arm. The cut was severe, blood spurting out alarmingly. Darth Plagueis admired Tang Xiao's resolve. With another gesture, he summoned a green energy that enveloped Tang Xiao's wound. Almost immediately, Tang Xiao felt the pain subside, replaced by a tingling, yet strangely comforting sensation as the wound began to heal. The wound began to heal, visibly before his very eyes, compelling him to raise his hand and examine it closely. Cease your curiosity, feel it through the Force, sense my mastery over the fibrils, Darth Plagueis commanded with stern authority. Tang Xiao promptly closed his eyes, immersing himself in the power emanating from Darth Plagueis. It felt as though Plagueis was intentionally guiding him, and Tang Xiao could sense what seemed like countless minuscule beings swimming within the green luminescence. These beings were brimming with a potent essence of the original Force, perhaps even embodying the Force itself. Were these the fibrils? Guided by Plagueis's method, Tang Xiao began to learn how to direct these tiny entities. With their intervention, his wounds gradually mended. Remarkably, even the dark side of the Force was harnessed to achieve healing. Tang Xiao couldn't help but admire Darth Plagueis's profound knowledge, arguably surpassing that of any Sith Lord in history. Although Plagueis's theories were eventually disproven, his achievements remained unparalleled. Even Darth Sidious, who had once dominated the galaxy, had high praise for his master. When Tang Xiao reopened his eyes, he found himself alone. Darth Sidious had severed the communication without his notice. The secret room was in disarray, with shattered teacups and a large puddle of semi-coagulated blood on the floor. Staring at the blood, Tang Xiao reflected on the experience. After a moment, he pressed the communication button and said, "Master, could you ask the kitchen to prepare more eggs for me? And also, more peanut, red dates, and wolfberry soup. I think I've lost too much blood. It would be good to replenish." Stepping out of the secret room, his assistant greeted him with a bowl of freshly boiled eggs, like over 10 in total, alongside a bowl of thick peanut, red dates, and wolfberry soup. He picked up an egg and while eating asked vaguely, "What's on my schedule for today?" Without needing to consult any documents, the assistant answered, "In an hour, you're scheduled to inspect the large-scale mining space station project that the Damask Holding Group is constructing for us. as well as the progress of the planetary-level mine on the fourth satellite, Dole. Then, in the afternoon, there's the inauguration ceremony of the large-scale physics research space station. Following that, Professor Chi Jianjun will present a report on the current scientific research project. Later, there's the sea trial experiment of the latest Cobalt alloy-class heavy frigate. You've mentioned wanting to be there in person, and finally tonight, there's a mock battle planned, with 5 T-850s set as your opponents. Tang Xiao nodded, gazing out the porthole as he popped another egg into his mouth, ready to tackle the day's packed agenda. Vol 2, Chapter 126, The Era of Large-Scale Mining. In the Endor system, orbiting the gas giant planet of Endor, lies its fourth satellite, Dor. This metallic satellite, with a diameter of 1,144 kilometers and an estimated mass of about 342 trillion tons, is a marvel of natural resources. To put it into perspective, Dor is roughly one-third the size of Earth's moon, but possesses a mass 500 times greater. The Glory Mothership's experts have discovered that Dor is abundant in a variety of metals, rare metals, and even natural alloys formed under extreme conditions. It is estimated that fully mining Dor could supply the Galactic Republic's largest spacecraft manufacturer, Quat PowerDock, with enough resources to operate for a decade. Tang Xiao, accompanied by a middle-aged man in his 40s named Xu Yan, a master mining expert and now president of the United Mining Group, arrived in the outer orbit of Dor. The United Mining Group, a joint venture between the Fourth Group and Damask Holding Group, is tasked with mining operations in the Endor galaxy. The discovery of Dor's rich resources excited even Hego Damask II, a prominent figure in the Interstellar Banking Association, who trusted Tang Xiao enough to invest $200 million directly through Damask Holding Group to establish the United Mining Group. Despite not contributing financially, Tang Xiao holds 70% of the group's shares, with the core executives being his appointees. Xu Yan briefed Tang Xiao on the mining plans, with representatives from Damask Holding Group, now senior managers of the United Mining Group, in attendance. He pointed out the initial excavation site on Dor, a modular building from the Mothership, which was nearing the end of its operational life due to the challenges of digging through the metal-rich layers encountered 1.8 kilometers underground. Xu Yan then highlighted the second phase of the mining project, where a large-scale operation was visible even from orbit. The project, still under construction, involves 100 SCVs working around the clock, though the planet's gravity poses significant challenges for workers and the B-1 robots, prompting Damask Holding Group to send professional mining robots. Tang Xiao inquired about the efficiency improvements expected from the second phase project. Xu Yan explained that, with technology from the Traders Emergency Alliance, the project could increase mining efficiency by 10 to 200 times, though this still falls short of the desired speed. The screen displayed several massive drills breaking ore on Dor's surface, with transport vehicles moving the ore away. The partnership between the United Mining Group and Damask Holding Group includes provisions for further cooperation, underscoring the ambitious scale of this mining endeavor. This marks the beginning of an era of large-scale mining, with the potential to significantly impact the Galactic Republic's resource availability and economic landscape. Tang Xiao, while observing the moon representatives, inquired, with a planetary-level mining base. One of the moons, with a polite nod, responded, "Dear Excellency, after our engineers conducted a thorough investigation, we've determined that our current planetary-level mining equipment is insufficient for effectively mining planet Dole. Therefore, after consulting with Mr. Xu Yan, we've prepared an alternative agreement." Tang Xiao's gaze shifted to Xu Yan, who promptly explained, "We plan to construct a large-scale mining space station in low orbit around planet Dole. This station will eventually be expanded into a mining star ring. The mining operations will primarily utilize lasers to cut through the ore, which will then be transported directly to the space station via tractor beams for separation and refinement." He presented another document. "For this mining space station and the future mining star ring, we will mainly provide the technology, while the Damask Holding Group will oversee the construction." The moon beside him added, "Our engineering team may not possess the most advanced technology, But we are fully capable of constructing such a significant space structure. In addition to the large mining space station, we will also assist in building 2 comprehensive docks. Comprehensive dock? Tang Xiao asked, unfamiliar with the term. Xu Yan quickly clarified, this project is still in the planning stages. The comprehensive dock, a concept from the Traders Emergency Alliance, is a versatile dock that can adjust in size to accommodate spaceships ranging from 50 meters to 500 meters. The Engineering Science Department is currently working on some technical breakthroughs, and construction is expected to begin in a few months. Tang Xiao nodded thoughtfully. The technology tree from original sin of the Empire of the Sun was now fully unfolding. Just 2 months prior, the Trader Emergency Alliance had introduced the Tech Construction Ship, marking a rapid advancement in T-Seek's technology tree. This was undoubtedly positive news, as the technology in Original Sin of a Solar Empire was not only more advanced than that in Homeland, but also more comprehensive. Additionally, Xu Yan continued, Professor Qi has provided us with a mining drone, which is currently in expanded production. We've established a space mine near the asteroid belt, primarily utilizing this mining drone. While the asteroid belt's resources are finite, they are easily accessible and can alleviate our immediate resource shortages. Tang Xiao acknowledged the update. The fourth civilization was facing a severe resource crisis. The introduction of infrastructure equipment, including SCV and tech engineering ships, had significantly accelerated construction speeds, leading to an almost constant demand for resources. Tang Xiao had prioritized the allocation of all resources towards spaceship construction, which had never ceased, further straining the resource supply. Fortunately, the construction of buildings on Dawn Planet still relied on reinforced concrete, allowing city development to proceed without delay. Note, the promotional and website-related text has been omitted for a cleaner and more focused narrative enhancement. Volume 2, Chapter 127, Star Wars, The Fourth Scourge. On the screen before Tang Xiao, a colossal mining spacecraft, stretching at least 1,500 meters in length, navigated slowly through the asteroid belt. Dozens of mining drones buzzed in and out like bees around a hive. Despite their small size, these drones were equipped with 4 mechanical claws, each extending over 20 meters. They darted towards the asteroids, seizing them with their lengthy appendages before hauling them back to the mining spacecraft. Within the bowels of this giant, a built-in refining apparatus would pulverize the asteroid into fine dust, extracting valuable minerals and discarding the remaining impurities into the void of space. This giant mining spacecraft was acquired through the Technology Alliance. It's a state-of-the-art model and will be leased to the Fourth Group. The rent will be covered by mortgaging 30% of the spacecraft's production capacity, Moon explained. Can this address our current resource dilemma? Tang Xiao inquired, turning to Xu Yan for insight. As long as we can keep up with the construction of the mine, there won't be any issues. The Endor system, with its ocean planet, offers a wealth of resources. Not to mention, the resource reserves on its other satellites are considerable. The Endo Galaxy is truly a treasure trove. Xu Yan responded with palpable excitement. Tang Xiao pondered this revelation. The strategic importance of the Endo Galaxy was not lost on him, especially considering the future Galactic Empire's decision to establish a secret base and construct the Death Star 2 there. This wasn't the first time he had encountered this perspective, and he found it increasingly convincing. After inspecting the United Mining Group's operations, Tang Xiao made his way towards the interstellar dock. The fourth civilization had made significant strides in space construction, boasting 2 destroyer docks capable of building spaceships up to 150 meters in length, with 1 more under construction. Additionally, there were 5 frigate docks for ships up to 50 meters, 3 of which were still in progress. The civilization had also embarked on creating independent production lines for fighter jets, with 5 situated in space and another 5 on Dawn Planet, yet to be completed. Factoring in the Mothership's built-in production line, capable of manufacturing 2 fighter jets simultaneously, the fourth civilization was on the brink of being able to produce 10 fighter jets concurrently. The construction efforts were bolstered by the engineering ships from the Traders' Emergency Alliance. These 43-meter-long vessels were laden with construction machinery and possessed the horsepower necessary to tow vast quantities of raw materials for space construction. Equipped with a versatile large robotic arm, these engineering ships were designed to handle the assembly of large components, complementing the SCVs that focused on the finer details of installation and processing. Contrary to their depiction as ground units in the Starcraft game, SCVs were originally intended for space, featuring a fully enclosed, self-circulating design with a low-power engine. Upon reaching the Scientific Research Space Station, Tang Xiao observed the significant expansions made to the original engineering and physics research stations, now transformed into two sprawling, irregular space structures. However, he was aware that such expansion had its limits. Continuous growth could complicate the station's layout and hinder efficiency. Professor Qi Jianjun greeted Tang Xiao with a comprehensive construction plan for a new scientific research center. This proposed facility, a circular space building measuring 1,000 meters in diameter and standing over 2,000 meters tall, was to be outfitted with state-of-the-art experimental equipment, enabling a wide range of scientific research experiments. Tang Xiao furrowed his brow, expressing his concern to Professor Qi. Old Qi, while I understand the need for our scientific research project team to expand, I sent this new scientific research building a bit too ambitious. Even if we manage to build it, we won't be able to fully utilize it at present. Professor Qi responded with a smile. This building is part of the technology tree from the Traders' Emergency Alliance. With the tech engineering ship at our disposal, we face no technical challenges in constructing this large scientific research center. But, Tang Xiao began, only to be interrupted as Professor Qi raised his hand. Manager, there's something important I need to discuss with you. Go ahead, Tang Xiao replied, his tone gentle. He respected Professor Qi and believed there must be a significant reason behind his words. Volume, Professor Qi stated succinctly. Volume? Tang Xiao echoed, puzzled. Yes, size, Qi Jianjun affirmed. The development of our fourth civilization is advancing rapidly. We have powerful interstellar fighters, Vengeance-class light destroyers, and Hammer-class light frigates. We're even in the process of constructing Cobalt Alloy-class heavy frigates. Not to mention, we've established complete systems for resource collection, industrial production, and agriculture. Tang Xiao nodded in agreement, pride evident in his expression. So, what do you think our fourth civilization lacks? Why do we still fall short when compared to the Galactic Republic and find ourselves at a disadvantage against the Damask Holding Group? Qi Jianjun probed further. Tang Xiao's frown deepened. Are you suggesting that our issue is one of scale? Exactly, Qi Jianjun confirmed. It's not just about how advanced our technology is. Our civilization's strength is currently limited by our size. Remember, despite our achievements, the total population of our fourth civilization is less than 50,000. And consider this, the Cobalt Alloy-class heavy frigate, soon to be commissioned, requires a crew of 75. Even if we could replace human crew members with B-1 robots, it would introduce a host of new challenges. Our primary concern at this moment should be our civilization's scale. Tang Xiao nodded in understanding. So, you're saying the plan for this scientific research center is to highlight that, despite its feasibility and the low technical barrier, it's impractical with our current population size. Professor Qi Jianjun smiled, then shook his head. No, what I really want is... Tang Xiao couldn't contain his surprise and accidentally spat out a mouthful of tea. Laughing at the sight, Qi Jianjun looked at Tang Xiao with a fondness akin to watching a thriving younger generation. Manager, as our fourth civilization continues to grow, we need to enhance our intellectual capabilities. Are you referring to me? Tang Xiao inquired. Your intellect alone is insufficient. Can you provide technological guidance to the scientific research department? Can you offer advice on people's livelihood to Gulaham? He came to your office, lamenting the shortage of food production. And what could you do but look on helplessly? Professor Qi challenged. Attachment 1 of the Easter Egg Chapter, Mining Drone. Attachment 2 Egg Chapter, Tech Engineering Ship. For ease of reading, you can bookmark this chapter, ensuring you can quickly return to this point in the story when you next visit your bookshelf. If you've enjoyed Star Wars: The Fourth Calamity, consider sharing it with your friends through various platforms. Your support is greatly appreciated. Vol 2, Chapter 128, Civilization Development. Tang Xiao initially wanted to explain that a wealth of knowledge had been infused into his mind. While he wouldn't claim expertise, he felt confident in guiding the general direction of development. His ability to lead the Fourth Civilization's progress over the past 8 months was significantly influenced by this diverse knowledge. However, he quickly grasped Qi Jianjun's implication. "Are you suggesting I should establish a think tank?" he inquired. "Exactly. Unless you wish to overextend yourself like Zhuge Liang, forming your own think tank and refining the administrative structure is crucial," Qi Jianjun advised. "This needs to be prioritized immediately." Tang Xiao agreed. "Okay, let's focus on the main issue. Guanyan has shifted from developing laser weapons. Together with materials expert Qi Shiwen, they plan to establish a basic physics research department to bolster our foundational theoretical knowledge. The engineering department's research will primarily aim at unlocking potential." "Do you have any recommendations?" Tang Xiao asked, seeking guidance. "After the launch of the Vengeance-class light destroyer, I suggest pausing the development of larger warships. Instead, concentrate on constructing and enhancing ships around 100 meters in size. I will oversee the development of large transport aircraft, as well as massive passenger spaceships and mining frigates. Feng Yongwang's team will focus on developing additional frigates and destroyers to diversify our fleet," Qi Jianjun proposed. "Thank you for your counsel, Professor Qi," Tang Xiao responded with a smile. "It's my pleasure. When will the think tank be established? May I join? I'd rather not spend all day in the research institute. Wouldn't it be nicer to enjoy tea in the office?" Qi Jianjun expressed his eagerness. Following a partnership agreement with Damask Holding Group, the Fourth Civilization embarked on a frenzy of infrastructure development. With the backing of Hego Damask II, disturbing the Endor galaxy became a significant risk. Offending the Damask Holding Group was one thing, but antagonizing the Interstellar Banking Association and the Trade Union could prove fatal. Thus, after the maiden voyage of the Vengeance-class light destroyer, Tang Xiao heeded Professor Qi Jianjun's advice. He temporarily halted the development of new warships, focusing instead on improving civilian infrastructure. This shift aimed not only to expand the Fourth Civilization, but also to alleviate Hego Damask II's concerns about their military advancements. The establishment of the Fourth National Bank, led by the esteemed economist Marvin Hitz, marked a significant milestone. The bank began replacing labor vouchers on the planet Dawn with paper currency, aptly named Number 4 currency. Though the name was unconventional, it was fitting. The introduction of currency signified a move towards economic liberalization, transitioning from a rationing system to a market-oriented mechanism. As the Fourth Civilization continued to grow, it was expected that employment relationships would become more complex, leading to the emergence of various economic entities like companies and enterprises. No 4 currency would facilitate the exchange of credit points within the galaxy, and for future considerations, the Fourth Civilization would also recognize Upi coins from Hut space. However, all foreign exchange transactions were to be temporarily managed by the Fourth National Bank, ensuring a controlled and strategic integration into the broader galactic economy. In an ambitious effort to rapidly increase the population, Tang Xiao focused on utilizing the 5 billion frozen embryos. He believed that the optimal approach for these embryos was to nurture them within a social environment, ensuring their psychological well-being. To facilitate this, Tang Xiao mandated that every resident of the Fourth Civilization adopt a frozen embryo. Couples starting a family were required to adopt an additional embryo. The government of the Fourth Civilization pledged to cover all maintenance expenses for the adopted embryos and offered extra allowances for each additional embryo adopted by a family. Furthermore, legislation was introduced to protect the human rights of these embryos, granting them the same legal status as ordinary residents. To alleviate the burden of care, Tang Xiao ordered the Damask Holding Group to supply 200,000 B-1 robots, all programmed to serve as babysitters. Each household was to be equipped with at least one of these robots. The embryos were expected to reach their developmental peak at age 25 within 10 years, after which their growth rate would normalize, making them indistinguishable from ordinary humans. Tang Xiao anticipated that, after a few generations, these embryos would be seamlessly integrated into society, eliminating the need for further expansion of the embryo adoption program. This policy led to an exponential increase in the population of the fourth civilization. The growing number of children from frozen embryos necessitated the expansion of educational and training institutions, entertainment facilities, agricultural operations, and housing. The collaboration with the Damask Holding Group also attracted some alien settlers to the fourth civilization, primarily the Munes, among a few other races. Sociology experts projected that, within a year, the population of the fourth civilization would surge to 1 million, with 700,000 being gradually maturing frozen embryos. To accommodate this growth, the Engineering Science Department, after outfitting the SCV, swiftly analyzed and replicated the technology of the Mobile Command Center. Several mobile command centers were constructed and deployed, with 2 designated for mining operations and the remaining 3 tasked with establishing new cities. These new cities were initially manned by wasteland reclamation groups to develop local agriculture and large-scale, fully enclosed hydroponic pods. Efforts were also made to establish relations with the surrounding Ewok tribes. Once a foundational infrastructure was in place, the population began to migrate, and rail transit systems were installed. Additionally, the fourth civilization adopted anti-gravity engine technology from the Damask Holding Group. Given the advanced state of anti-gravity technology in the Star Wars universe, which allowed for the practical application of anti-gravity patches even on small items like wheelchairs, the Dawn Planet opted against paving hardened roads between cities. Instead, all vehicles utilized anti-gravity flight, and the latest maglev trains operated on guide rails with a diameter of about 30 centimeters, minimizing environmental impact. Links to the novel's chapters and additional resources were provided for readers interested in exploring more about Star Wars: The Fourth Calamity. If you enjoyed Star Wars: The Fourth Natural Disaster, please consider recommending this book to your friends through QQ, blogs, WeChat, and other social platforms. Your support is greatly appreciated. Vol 2, Chapter 129, Personal Assistant. Star Wars: The Fourth Scourge. Tang Xiao stood in the medical center, his gaze fixed on a man in his 30s lying within a medical cabin. "It seems he's about to awaken. Doctor, how is he?" he inquired, observing the patient's condition. The doctor, holding a portable medical terminal, reviewed the data before responding. "His vital signs are stable, though there's still some rejection. I'll administer 0.5 grams of entomic. He should then sleep for another 4 to 8 hours. After that, he'll be fine." Tang Xiao nodded in approval, approached the glass medical cabin, and gently caressed the hatch cover. "You've accepted my proposal and agreed to assist me. I'm grateful. Your intellect is crucial for confronting the galaxy's darkest threats. I've never aspired to be a paragon of justice. Such ideals abandoned me the moment I assumed this role. However," he paused, collecting his thoughts, "I must intervene to avert a grim future. After all, I am who I am." The man inside the cabin's eyelids twitched, perhaps a sign he heard Tang Xiao's words. His fist clenched slightly, a subtle but telling reaction. "Rest well. When you awaken, a galaxy awaits our intervention," Tang Xiao concluded, turning to address another individual standing behind him. "Let's leave him to rest. My words were meant for both of you." Returning to his office, Tang Xiao sat across from a man wearing glasses, his appearance marked by short hair and a somber expression. "Please, have a seat," Tang Xiao offered with a smile. The man sat down, his demeanor reserved yet confident. "What's on your mind?" Tang Xiao inquired, still smiling. "I've forgotten my past, much like everyone else revived on this mothership, yet I sense a deep-seated unwillingness within me. I've lost much, but—" He paused, raising a hand to his face contemplatively. A T-850 robot served 2 cups of black tea, placing one before the man. Tang Xiao continued, "Your presence on the mothership's legendary list was unexpected. Our current predicament seems somewhat out of character for you. I'm unfamiliar with the legendary class and your reference to character. Clarification on my presence here would be appreciated, the man responded calmly. I can't fully explain your presence here, but regarding our character, let's just say we have a long journey ahead before facing what's to come, Tang Xiao explained, emphasizing the collective effort. Are you curious about your past? The Mothership's database contains some information, though it feels more like a past life to me. Irrelevant to our current situation, the man replied. So, the future challenge you mentioned is the Galactic Civil War? What role do we play? He asked. My hope is for us to survive and thrive, Tang Xiao said earnestly. Those who've joined me on this mothership are my family. In this vast universe, nothing is more important than that. Family. The man seemed touched, lost in thought. Exactly, family. This is a conversation among family members. There may be hierarchies in the future, but I'll never coerce you into actions against your will. My goal is to secure a better life for us all. After all, you're my family, Tang Xiao affirmed. At your age, such old-fashioned sentiments are unexpected, the man remarked, his tone warmer and more familiar. You need to learn to adapt, Tang Xiao said with a smile. My newly formed cabinet consists of 4 members. Professor Qi Jianjun oversees scientific research, and 1 member, currently hospitalized, offers strategic advice. Francis Underwood handles politics and diplomacy, and then there's you, my personal assistant. I need your assistance. Can I count on you? Tang Xiao raised his teacup towards the man in front of him. After a moment's hesitation, the man responded with a sly smile, raising his teacup to clink against Tang Xiao's. Certainly, I will do my utmost, manager. Then congratulations, you're officially a member of my cabinet. Make good use of your abilities, Mr. Xiao, Tang Xiao said, savoring the black tea in his cup. Xiao was an unexpected choice. Tang Xiao was aware that his list of legendary figures comprised characters from movies and games, each with their own unique backgrounds. Figures like Munte, Francis, and Yuri Olav had seamlessly adapted to this world, thriving in their respective roles. However, Xiao's selection was particularly surprising. As the son of a gang leader and a graduate from the accounting department of a prestigious university, his background seemed modest in comparison to the impending galactic super civil war. Yet, Xiao had proven himself exceptional. Following his father's death in a gang conflict, he returned to China to take over a gang on the brink of collapse. With decisive and swift actions, he quickly consolidated his power and eliminated the 4 major rival families, catapulting his group to the top in a matter of months. His remarkable transformation showcased his true capabilities. Tang Xiao chose him for several reasons. Xiao was known for his ruthless efficiency, yet he was deeply loyal to those he respected. As an assistant, his abilities would be put to the test, ensuring he wouldn't be overwhelmed by the vast stage of the Milky Way. Moreover, Tang Xiao couldn't help but acknowledge Xiao's attractiveness, considering him second only in looks to himself. Interestingly, Tang Xiao's decision to lead the cabinet did not rest on Xiao, but on the individual still recuperating in the hospital. Attachment 1 of the Easter egg chapter. P.S. I anticipate some controversy over introducing Xiao, but I stand by my decision. My aim is to feature more Eastern faces in the narrative of the Fourth Civilization, akin to Zheng Zidan in Rogue One. For those interested in following Star Wars, The Fourth Calamity, you can find the latest chapters and more information through the provided links. Remember to bookmark this page for easy access in the future, and if you enjoy the story, please consider sharing it with your friends. Thank you for your support. Vol 2, Chapter 130, Political Game. Star Wars, The Fourth Scourge. Forming a cabinet is a critical endeavor, and Tang Xiao spared no effort, utilizing all available resources. After extensive deliberation on potential candidates, he finally selected his chief strategist, a figure of legend. Indeed, in his quest to assemble a formidable cabinet, Tang Xiao awakened not 1, but 2 legendary figures. Alongside Xiao, he chose an individual whose intellect and strategic acumen are matched by few in the realms of film and television. This person, unlike Luther and Mengsk, whose loyalty might waver, presents a more reliable ally. Known for his strategic brilliance, He has the uncanny ability to solve monumental challenges with minimal resources. It's as if he could move a building with a single matchstick. A mere mortal, he once orchestrated a plan that led to the downfall and division of the world's mightiest superheroes. He is none other than Baron Helmut Zemo, movie version, the man who single-handedly subverted the Avengers. The Chief Assistant of the Cabinet? An unusual title, but it marks the first step towards fulfilling our promise, Francis Underwood remarked, casually setting aside the document before taking a sip from his glass. Claire Underwood, picking up the document, expressed more curiosity about the backgrounds of Helmut Zemo and Tang Xiao and their roles in the cabinet. "That's not what's important, Claire," Francis replied with a knowing smile. "And what, in your opinion, is?" Claire asked, moving towards the closet. She began sifting through dresses, removing her coat in the process. "Location, location, location," Francis declared, standing by the window. He lit a cigarette, inhaled deeply, and exhaled the smoke into the evening air. "As I've often said, power is akin to real estate. Its value is all about location. The closer you are to the core, the more influence you wield." "So, being the chief assistant means we're closer to the core?" Claire inquired, holding up a long red dress before discarding it for a black one. "On the contrary, it places us further away," Francis explained, extinguishing his cigarette. "In this cabinet, Qi Jianjun leads scientific research, an unassailable position. Tang Xiao serves as Tang Xiao's aide, handling his daily affairs, while Helmut Zemo is the chief strategist. Tang Xiao will undoubtedly consult them on many matters, leaving me, despite my title as head of the cabinet, with little real influence over its members." Claire paused in her selection of dresses, her voice tinged with concern. "Are you suggesting we're being sidelined?" "He appointed me chief assistant, a nominal title, perhaps, but it signifies that he hasn't forgotten his earlier promise," Francis reassured her with a relaxed smile. "And I must say, that red dress you considered earlier was quite striking." "Tomorrow, I'm attending a meeting for the Milky Way Outer Ring Planet Mutual Aid Fund. Given its mission to foster solidarity among the less powerful, I thought a more subdued, solemn black would be appropriate," Claire mused. "The mutual fund's meeting isn't what's crucial here. It's the influence you wield. Opting for red signifies your passion, drawing everyone's attention. That's our objective," Francis clarified. Claire smiled, picking up the red dress once more. "Then red it is. By the way, will you be joining me?" The following day, a grand event was held at a luxurious hotel. The venue was bustling with high-ranking officials from the Galactic Republic and counselors from various planets. Waiters weaved through the crowd, serving exquisite dishes to the distinguished guests. Small groups formed here and there, engaging in conversations that could potentially alter the fate of entire planets. Amidst this gathering, Claire Underwood took the stage, captivating the audience with her presence. Dressed in an elegant red gown, she addressed the assembly with a warm smile. "Let us turn our attention to the planets in the outer ring of the Milky Way. While we bask in prosperity, it's crucial to remember that there are worlds out there where people are struggling to survive. Some of these planets are so remote that they cannot even send representatives to Coruscant to voice their plight." She continued passionately, "It's time for us to unite. If the Republic is unable to address the basic needs of these neglected planets, then it falls upon us to take action." Her speech was met with enthusiastic responses. "Planet Rhodia pledges its support to the Galaxy Outer Ring Planet Mutual Aid Fund," one voice declared. "Planet Jabeam is also eager to join and contribute to the cause," another added. "And Planet Semis will provide a fleet of robots to assist with production efforts on the Outer Ring planets," a counselor announced, further fueling the atmosphere of solidarity. In a secluded corner of the room, a distinguished old man stood sipping champagne with an air of grace. After concluding her speech, Claire excused herself from a conversation with Thunback Tula, a lavishly dressed counselor from Planet Semeth, and approached the old man. "Master Dooku, your presence here is truly an honor. I was pleasantly surprised to learn of your generous donation of 5 million credits to our fund. On behalf of the impoverished planets in the Outer Ring, I extend my deepest gratitude. Your contribution has certainly reshaped our perception of a Jedi Knight, Claire expressed with genuine appreciation. For those who've enjoyed this chapter of Star Wars: The Fourth Calamity and wish to continue following the story, please consider bookmarking the page for easy access in the future. Your support means the world to us. And if you've enjoyed the tale, feel free to share it with friends on social media or any other platform you prefer. Thank you for your continued support. Vol 2, Chapter 131, First Meeting. Master Dooku nodded slightly, his expression one of mild approval. I'm very pleased to encounter someone as dynamic as you in the midst of the Galactic Republic's decline. It's truly refreshing, he remarked. Claire responded with a compliment of her own. Master Dooku's concern for the people sets an example for our generation. Suddenly, Master Dooku inquired, Are you from planet Endor? Claire corrected him. The planet Endor has been renamed Dawn Planet. We completed the registration process 3 days ago. Master Dooku, still without a smile, nodded. A refugee group from an unknown human planet. Interesting. I've taken a liking to your eloquence and to Dawn Planet. I'll be keeping an eye on your progress. With those parting words, he turned and left. Claire Underwood stood alone, holding a glass of wine, her gaze lingering on Master Dooku's departing figure, lost in thought. Outside the luxury hotel, a throng of reporters had gathered, capturing the event from every angle. Their instincts told them there was a story here, and as the banquet concluded, they swarmed out, eager for a scoop. Most of the parliament members and officials quickly departed with their bodyguards, avoiding the press. However, a few, including Onaconda Far from planet Rhodia, stayed behind, eager to use the media's attention to highlight the famine on his planet. Claire Underwood also chose to stay for an interview, seemingly at ease in the spotlight. Hello, Miss Claire. I'm a reporter from Galaxy Times. Can you tell us about the Mutual Aid Fund for the Outer Rings of the Galaxy that you proposed? One reporter asked. My Dawn Planet is a new colony founded by war refugees. We understand the hardships of poverty and underdevelopment firsthand. My hope is to alleviate such suffering across the galaxy, Claire explained. Miss Claire, this is Nebula Radio. Your initiative seems to challenge the interests of the Trade Alliance. Their recent attempt to impose a transportation surcharge on planet Rhodia was thwarted. Does this signify a declaration of war against the trade union? Another reporter inquired. I have no intention of declaring war on anyone. My actions are motivated by a desire for peace. I believe that if the trade union truly aims to benefit the galaxy, they will see the value in our approach, Claire responded calmly. Miss Claire, we're from the Coruscant Current Affairs Network. Dawn Planet is unfamiliar to us. Could you tell us more about its location? A third reporter asked. Dawn Planet, formerly known as Endor, is situated in the Endor Galaxy. It's a colony established by refugees who have built a strong relationship with the indigenous Ewoks. Through hard work, our community is gradually flourishing, Claire elaborated. Will you push for Dawn Planet to join the Galactic Republic Council? Another reporter questioned. I'm very hopeful about that prospect, but for now, our primary focus is on ensuring our people have their basic needs met, Claire stated. As the interview concluded, the future of Dawn Planet and the Mutual Aid Fund remained a topic of keen interest. The scene shifted to a room where a thin, well-maintained hand reached out to turn off a holographic projection TV. A somewhat bald, 50-year-old man gazed out the window, deep in thought. He was Shiv Palpatine, a counselor of planet Naboo in the Galactic Republic. Dawn Planet, Endor Planet, Model Sector, he muttered, trying to piece together the information. He then activated his communicator, and the tall, imposing figure of Master Dooku appeared in the holographic projection. Palpatine greeted him with a polite smile. Master Dooku, during your recent visit to the Model Sector, did you find anything noteworthy besides the colony in the Endor Galaxy? Are you also interested in this matter, Senator Palpatine? Master Dooku responded, his tone suggesting a mutual curiosity. To describe it, the Mutual Aid Fund in the outer ring of the galaxy is akin to a firefly in the dark. Though its light ye be faint, it brings us a glimmer of hope, Palpatine remarked. Master Dooku nodded in agreement and shared, the bounty hunters I dispatched to the Model Sector came back empty-handed. However, upon discovering a colony group in the Endor Galaxy, their intentions turned malevolent, aiming to rob the colony. Ultimately, they were eradicated by Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn and his apprentice Obi-Wan Kenobi, who were coincidentally present. Palpatine then suggested, "I believe the Jedi Order should also conduct a Force-sensitive census on Dawn Planet." "I haven't been closely following the Jedi Order's activities," Dooku admitted, "but you are still recognized as a Jedi Master." "You seem to have a particular interest in Dawn Planet, Your Excellency," Dooku observed. "That's because they represent the fresh blood of the Republic, bringing forth proposals that have piqued my interest. Their enthusiasm has rekindled hope in the decaying Galactic Republic," Palpatine explained. "So, you're considering introducing them to the Galactic Republic Parliament?" Dooku inquired. "Why not? I would be delighted to witness Miss Claire's compelling speech in Parliament," Palpatine responded with enthusiasm. "In that case, I'll contribute to your cause. I'll remind Master Yoda about conducting a Force-sensitive census on Dawn," Dooku offered. After ending the communication, Palpatine muttered under his breath, "Fool, did you really think a few bounty hunters could uncover a disturbance in the Force? And to think it was intercepted by the Jedi Order? But it's unlikely they'll discover anything significant." He shook his head, then pressed a button on his desk and said, "Please come in, Mr. Francis." Moments later, the office door slid open silently, and Francis Underwood entered. Palpatine's demeanor instantly became welcoming as he stepped forward, taking Francis's hand warmly. "My apologies for the wait, Mr. Francis. I was just engrossed in Miss Claire's speech. Her eloquence is truly convincing." Francis returned the smile, saying, "Mr. Senator, I've been reading your writings. Your journey to becoming a member of the Galactic Parliament is an inspiration to us all. Let's get straight to the point. I'm aware of your reason for being here, Mr. Francis. Regarding the Galactic Outer Ring Planet Mutual Aid Fund, it's a noble cause for the Galactic Republic. Naturally, I will offer my full support," Palpatine said, his expression turning earnest. Note: the URLs and instructions for bookmarking and sharing the novel have been omitted for a more immersive narrative experience. Vol. 2, Chapter 132, Cunning, Star Wars, The Fourth Scourge. "Before coming here, I was actually contemplating whether you would support us, but now I am completely at ease," Francis replied with a smile. However, his heart was heavy with unease. As soon as Palpatine began to speak, he effectively silenced Francis, taking control of the negotiation. Francis didn't take Palpatine's promise seriously. It was merely a sentence. "Is there anything else?" Palpatine inquired further. "No, that will be all," Francis responded with a smile, choosing not to voice his true thoughts, as he had already deciphered Palpatine's intentions. He presented a box of tea leaves, saying, "This is a unique beverage from our planet Dawn. Tea. I hope you enjoy it." Theoretically, I shouldn't accept such a gift. However, I am quite intrigued by the beautiful, self-improving planet of Dawn, so I will accept it with gratitude, Palpatine said, taking the small gift. After leaving the Galactic Council, Francis entered his hover car, where his staff member, Douglas Stamp, awaited him. "Palpatine won't support our bid to join the Galactic Council," Francis said, loosening his tie and unbuttoning his shirt collar. "Did he explicitly refuse?" Douglas inquired. "He didn't outright refuse, but he didn't allow me any opportunity to speak. Speaking under those circumstances would have only led to embarrassment," Francis explained, resting his chin in his hand in thought. "Although he's not at the peak of his influence, he's still a significant figure in the Galactic Council. Perhaps he's not in favor of our current request to align with them?" Douglas speculated, frowning. "For a politician, outright disliking such a proposal is unlikely. I expected him not to refuse, unless—" Francis trailed off, pausing before continuing. "Let's prepare Claire for our next move." However, the very next day, Francis was shocked to see a news report on TV. Here is the report from the Republic News. Yesterday, Mr. Schiff Palpatine, a representative from the planet Naboo, proposed a motion to grant the planet Dawn an official seat in the Parliament of the Galactic Republic. Mr. Palpatine, did you propose the inclusion of Dawn Planet, a small colony with a population of less than 100,000, into the Galactic Council for a specific reason? The reporter asked. Palpatine, dressed in elegant robes and exuding calmness and warmth, replied, Dawn Planet is a thriving colony. Despite being refugees from war, they have not been defeated by fate. They chose to defy it. They are rebuilding their homeland with their own hands. Moreover, Palpatine gestured towards Claire Underwood's speech. Miss Claire from Dawn Planet is also actively involved in politics, advocating for the less developed planets in the Outer Rim. They are not merely seeking sympathy, but are looking towards a more sustainable future. This is what I admire about them. So, this motion was introduced because of that? The reporter pressed. Exactly. I hope this bill demonstrates my commitment to the Outer Rim planets. It's also a great opportunity for these planets to have their own voice, Palpatine said, his fists raised passionately in the air. Damn it! Francis Underwood exclaimed, resisting the urge to turn off the TV. As the interview continued, his expression darkened. Claire Underwood approached with 2 glasses of wine, placing one in front of him, and asked, "What's the matter? Isn't it beneficial for us that Palpatine, with his strong political influence, is helping us gain a seat in Parliament?" It's far from beneficial. He knew exactly what I was implying with my visit yesterday. Yet today, he introduces this motion, not as a gesture of goodwill towards us, but as a clear message that there's no easy path forward. Francis said bitterly, taking a sip of his wine. I don't quite understand, Claire admitted, seeking further clarification. Setting his glass down, Francis inquired, what do you think the chances are of this bill passing? Claire frowned slightly. While we may not be intimately familiar with every member of the Galactic Council, based on the current dynamics, I'd say the probability of it passing is no more than 20%. Francis shook his head. It's not 20%. It's 0. Palpatine will use his influence behind the scenes to ensure this bill doesn't see the light of day. Why would he do that? Claire asked, puzzled. For the naive, they'll only be thankful for his intervention, unwittingly becoming his pawns. But for those of us who are more discerning, it's a clear warning and a test. Moreover, have you noticed how he's managed to shift some of the focus from the issues you raised onto himself, thereby polishing his political image? Francis explained. Claire's expression darkened. Are you suggesting he's killing 3 birds with 1 stone? Before, the manager warned me that he might be the most formidable adversary I'd ever face. I'm starting to believe it, Francis said, downing his wine in one go. In a direct confrontation, we stand no chance. We'd be completely devoured. Claire clenched her fists. Then, why don't we consider retreating? No, Francis cut her off sharply. Remember, retreat is not a word in our vocabulary. It doesn't exist. What we need is to strategize and position ourselves accordingly, understand? He stood and walked over to the bar, pouring himself another glass of wine. But after today's events, one thing is crystal clear. What's that? Claire asked, intrigued. I could never align myself with Palpatine, Francis stated firmly, turning to face Claire. But now we have 2 advantages. First, we don't have to play Palpatine's game. What we need is to leverage each other. Second, I'm beginning to believe the future that the manager spoke of might actually come to pass. So what's our next move? Claire asked. Francis smiled slyly. It's time to play another card. You're thinking of... Claire began. Exactly, Francis interrupted with a grin. The trade union, it's their turn to make a move, though it might require a bit more effort on your part. I'm ready, Frank, Claire replied with a confident smile. Note, the URLs and references to the novel's online presence have been omitted for a cleaner narrative presentation. Vol 2, Chapter 133, Guns and Arrows. In the conference room of the Glory Mothership orbiting the planet Endor, Tang Xiao occupied the main seat, flanked by Tang Xiao and a younger, more delicate-looking individual. This was Baron Helmut Zemo, the chief strategist appointed by Tang Xiao. Interestingly, both Tang Xiao and Baron Zemo wore glasses and possessed a striking handsomeness, nearly rivaling Tang Xiao himself, a fact that filled him with a sense of pride. On the conference room screen played the news of Shiv Palpatine's announcement proposing the inclusion of Dawn Planet into the Parliament. Tang Xiao, with a furrowed brow, questioned, what is Palpatine's intention with this? Baron Zemo pondered before responding, this is not the opportune moment to advance such a motion. Our population, strength, and influence are insufficient for entry into the Galactic Council. I dislike the convolutions of these politicians, but it's clear Palpatine is aware of this. He must have an ulterior motive, Tang Xiao added. Francis Underwood harbored similar sentiments. He sought Palpatine's support to align with him, yet Palpatine has turned the tables, bringing to the Galaxy Council matters Francis had left unspoken. Tang Xiao massaged his temples, expressing his frustration. Despite his foreknowledge of the plot, the unpredictable nature of events involving his fourth civilization, which was not originally part of the story, presented a significant challenge. Whether in terms of force or wit, these situations often led to direct confrontations with their adversaries. Following Professor Chijianjin's advice, Tang Xiao had established a cabinet think tank and revived two legendary figures, Ni Yongxiao and Baron Zemo, to aid in these matters. Why not seek assistance from your master? He holds a significant position within the Interstellar Banking Association, Ni Yongxiao suggested. Baron Zemo interjected, asking Hago for help would be detrimental. The involvement of such business magnates is generally frowned upon. Leaning back, Zemo inquired, Manager, what did you say was Palpatine's goal? To incite conflict between the outer and inner rings of the galaxy, ultimately sparking a civil war within the Milky Way, Tang Xiao answered. Considering that we might merely be pawns in his game, Zemo proposed. Pawns? Tang Xiao echoed, seeking clarification. Exactly, a pawn for the Galactic Republic. Palpatine intends to use the recent attention garnered by Claire Underwood's Outer Galactic Planet Mutual Fund to make us a symbol for the Republic, Zemo explained with a cold smile. What should we do? Tang Xiao asked. Let the motion fail. Palpatine will then approach Francis, claiming he did his utmost to garner support, but the motion was thwarted by the trade union's business magnates, falling short by a few votes. Depending on Francis's reaction, Palpatine has two potential moves, Zemo elaborated. First, if Francis turns to the media, Palpatine's objective is achieved, a vibrant planet, ostracized by business magnates, showcasing the Republic's irony. Second, even if Francis retreats quietly, Palpatine can still manipulate public opinion, directing blame towards the Republic. A cunning strategy. He continually seizes every opportunity to spotlight himself, mirroring Francis Underwood's tactics, Ni Yongxiao observed, shaking his head. Tang Xiao, with a grave tone, speculated, I believe Frank will discover a third option. How can we align our efforts with his? Zemo responded decisively, we should downplay this issue. Our statement will emphasize our focus on the national economy and the welfare of our people, asserting that even without a parliamentary seat, we will support the Republic in various ways. Tang Xiao affirmed with a nod. He then turned to his master and instructed, Master, please notify the administration department to prepare a statement for me immediately. Inform the Dawning Channel. I will make this statement tomorrow. Since I'm your assistant, shouldn't I be the one to make this statement? Ni Yongxiao interjected with a playful smile. Looking for a way to be lazy? That won't work. I have more important tasks for you, Tang Xiao replied with a chuckle. However, his mood shifted abruptly when the main brain sent him a message through the chip implanted in his brain. Tang Xiao's expression darkened instantly. He had been about to stand and leave the meeting, but now he remained frozen in place. Ni Yongxiao immediately sensed the change in atmosphere. What's wrong, manager? The smuggling transport ship we sent to planet Celia was hijacked, resulting in the loss of a batch of weapons and ammunition, Tang Xiao explained, his tone grave. Considering our involvement in weapons smuggling, it's not unusual to encounter hijackings, Ni Yongxiao remarked. The issue is that it was Black Sun who hijacked our ship, Tang Xiao revealed. Oh, Black Sun. They've finally made their move, Ni Yongxiao mused, stroking his chin thoughtfully. Tang Xiao sat back down and addressed Ni Yongxiao. I'm entrusting this matter to you. I will assign you a Vengeance-class light destroyer and 12 Hammer-class light frigates. Your mission is not to confront Black Sun directly, but to gather intelligence on their objectives. Understood, Ni Yongxiao replied, standing up to leave. Wait, Tang Xiao called out, stopping him. The situation on planet Celia is evolving. The planet may be on the brink of civil war. Yuri Orlov is dealing weapons there, and he needs our cooperation. However, under no circumstances must we reveal our identity as a weapons-exporting country. No problem. Do I need to go to planet Celia personally? Ni Yongxiao inquired. Not for now, at least until the disturbance caused by Palpatine subsides, Tang Xiao advised, shaking his head. In stark contrast to the covert operations on Coruscant and Dawn Planet, Tatooine Planet has long been a battleground where conflicts are settled with real weapons. After receiving support from Black Sun, Ghidorah the Hutt saw a glimmer of hope for resurgence. However, this hope was swiftly crushed by Jabba's overwhelming power. Jabba placed a staggering bounty of 100 million galaxy credit points on Ghidorah's head. This immense reward attracted countless bounty hunters. In their quest for this fortune, fierce competition and frequent clashes among the bounty hunters became commonplace. Note the URLs and instructions for bookmarking, downloading, and recommending the novel Star Wars: The Fourth Calamity have been omitted for narrative coherence and immersion. Vol 2, Chapter 134, Black Ship Death Notice. The skies above Tatooine were nearly swarmed with bounty hunter spaceships, creating an almost impenetrable blockade. This statement, however, is somewhat exaggerated. Given that Tatooine is a planet of Earth's magnitude, these small crafts couldn't possibly encircle it entirely. Yet, while Tatooine's expanse is vast, Ghidorah's stronghold is not. Perched on a hill outside Mos Espa, Ghidorah's palace mirrors Jabba's fortress near Mos Eisley. These two imposing structures house Tatooine's most formidable figures, overseeing the planet's only significant urban center. The bounty hunters' ships effectively sealed off all routes to Ghidorah's palace. Despite the palace's robust air defense, it proved futile against the bounty hunters who relentlessly intercepted smuggling vessels from the Black Sun in outer space. Quack, 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 kill, kill, kill! The Knoll pilot's frenzied roars echoed through the public channel, instilling terror in all who tuned in. Like harbingers of death, the pitch-black ghost fighters unleashed a barrage of fire on a Black Sun smuggling ship in their sights. They showed no restraint, depleting their stock of Gemini missiles within 3 days of their raiding spree. Yet, even without missiles, the destructive power of their pulse laser cannons remained formidable. The transport ship's shields were breached, its hull ignited, and a series of internal explosions led to its disintegration. The Knoll pilots' excitement surged with each rescue capsule they mercilessly destroyed. Buka, an elite Knoll, leaped about on the cruiser Iron Fang, his cheers marking the explosion of each rescue capsule as if slaughter was his sole purpose in life. Meanwhile, Volgograd Kanedi, the official captain of the Iron Fang, sat in his chair with a vacant expression. Clad in a bulletproof suit, he watched the carnage unfold, occasionally glancing at the time. After a moment, he spoke in a detached tone. "All right, Buka, call your men back. Zhang Cheng, deploy a search team and retrieve what you can." "Yes," a human officer promptly replied. "Quack! I want to kill more! I want to kill!" Buka protested, still unsatisfied. Kanedi merely gave him a listless look, at a loss for words. However, with Tang Xiao's authority looming over them, Buka, albeit reluctantly, ordered the Knoll pilots to return. "Captain, 5 small spaceships are approaching. They're Jabba's bounty hunters, looking to claim their share," the adjutant reported. Kanedi sighed, massaging his forehead. "Speak to them politely. Tell them to keep their distance, or they'll be risking their lives. If they don't heed the warning, we'll have to shoot. We must avoid any further killing." "Yes," the communications officer acknowledged. Among the approaching bounty hunter ships, a Rodian's face paled in horror. "No, it's a black ship. We've trespassed into the black ship's hunting grounds. Damn it, we discovered this smuggling fleet first. We should at least get the leftovers," another bounty hunter argued. "Exactly. With so many bounty hunters around lately, there's hardly any loot left for us," another added. "Fool, do you even know what a black ship entails? It's crewed by races you've never seen, all notoriously vicious and merciless. No one who encounters them lives to tell the tale." "Indeed, it's wiser not to provoke the black ships. Their modified Hammerhead-class cruiser rivals modern warships in strength, and their black fighters are on par with military-grade vessels." "Are we just going to watch them take everything?" "Look, they're deploying their salvage craft. If we don't act now, there won't be anything left for us." At that moment, the communications officer's face turned ashen, signaling imminent danger. His voice trembled with urgency. "The black ship has made contact. Leave this area immediately and do not approach, otherwise it's a matter of life and death." "It's the end. The black ship's death notice means certain doom if we get any closer," exclaimed another Quarren crew member, his abhorrer, and shaking uncontrollably on the joystick. No, we must not approach. If we don't leave within 1 minute, we'll be under attack. Death. Death notice. Black ship. This is madness. I refuse to be part of this. A bounty hunter ship swiftly turned and fled. Run, run. The rest of the bounty hunter spaceships hastily followed suit, each scrambling to turn around and escape. Watching the radar screen, Volgograd Kennedy let out a sigh of relief and muttered to himself, "Thankfully, with proper communication, these bounty hunters can be reasoned with." He then turned to the navigator beside him. Check the distribution of bounty hunters in the outer space of Tatooine using the signal from the communication channel and plot a safe course for Santa to emerge. A transport ship plummeted like a meteor into the desert of Tatooine, kicking up a massive cloud of yellow sand. The remaining half of the carrier, despite being severely damaged, had some parts still functioning, with the automatic firefighting system activated, spewing copious amounts of firefighting foam. However, due to the hull being twisted and fractured, the foam was ejected skyward. Before the dust settled, a convoy of massive armed off-road vehicles approached from the distance. These vehicles, each 12 meters in length, boasted robust suspensions and powerful engines, allowing them to cover the ground at speeds exceeding 100 kilometers per hour, reaching the wreckage of the transport ship in less than 2 minutes. Upon closer inspection, these armed off-road vehicles appeared even more formidable. Their drivers, having endured betrayal, despair, and rebirth, had been honed into the finest warriors, and with the aid of Santa Claus, these elite warriors were now equipped with the most fearsome weapons. Special thanks to the German bombardier for the 100 book coins. Vol 2, Chapter 135, Christmas Gift. Star Wars: The Fourth Scourge. Search the cargo hold for anything useful. Scar commanded, his voice cutting through the air like a knife. The team sprang into action. Armed with cutting and carrying tools, they descended upon the wreckage. With precision, they sliced through the hull, scavenging for anything of value. In no time, they unearthed several crates emblazoned with the Black Sun insignia. Upon opening them, they found the crates were filled with neatly packed compressed biscuits and drinking water. The ground yielded further treasures, usable weapons and ammunition, and even 2 robots that had miraculously survived with minimal damage. Among the scavengers was T-850 Jason Statham, his presence unmistakable. After numerous modifications, his skull-shaped metal endoskeleton was completely obscured. Now, he was encased in rough, ferocious armor, and welded to his shoulders was a frame that bore an eerie resemblance to the flags behind a peaking opera singer. However, instead of flags, this frame displayed skulls with remnants of rotting flesh. This macabre appearance ensured that even in this ruthless crew, no one dared approach him within 3 meters. Gravel kept a vigilant eye on the time. After 5 minutes, he stood up and announced, "Okay, let's go." Without hesitation, the team abandoned whatever they hadn't yet loaded into the carriage. They started the engines of their vehicles and set off without delay. Shortly after their departure, 2 bounty hunter ships appeared, circling the wreckage of the transport ship. Jason Statham, perched on the roof of the lead off-road vehicle, suddenly tapped on the window. His scarlet electronic eyes flickered beneath his hideous helmet as he announced, "Santa Claus is here. The coordinates have been transmitted to the vehicle computer." "Ha! Let's go, brothers. Santa Claus is here. With this haul, we're set for our next big score." Magton Scar's laughter crackled through the communication. The convoy of 10 Pathfinder-class light attack vehicles immediately veered off, racing towards the given coordinates. There, on a dune, sat a transport plane more than 40 meters in length with a slightly flat body, its tail bearing a resemblance to the Ghost Fighter's design. Equipped with a pair of powerful engines and a spacious cargo compartment, this was the Apod 33, a Quantradine's transport aircraft from the Tyranid Empire in Starcraft. After failing to secure a large transport aircraft from the Damask Holding Group, Qi Jianjun had tasked Feng Yongwang's team to work overtime to develop this transport aircraft. As the light attack vehicles encircled the transport aircraft, the hatch opened, and a man wearing sunglasses and a cigar in his mouth descended. Upon seeing Gravel and Scar, he burst into laughter, opened his arms wide for a hug, and exclaimed, "Yo! I didn't expect it! This time, I'm your Santa Claus. Yuri Olov, ha! Scar's relationship with Yuri had grown significantly over time. He embraced Yuri, giving him a few hearty slaps on the back. What brings you here? Weren't you on another planet? Yuri, taking a puff of his cigar, replied, The Black Sun has been causing trouble for us, and our boss sent me to handle it. Hey, you're bold to pick a fight with the galaxy's biggest gangster. Broderick Stone joined in, clapping Yuri on the shoulder. Yuri smiled. It's not about who they are, but the obstacles they present. Let's see this Christmas present, Scar urged, eager to see what Yuri had brought. You've all been busy, but those bounty hunter spaceships have been a real thorn in our side. So, Yuri gestured dramatically towards the back. Show them. Received, came the response. Several B-1 combat robots began to lift large boxes which were evidently heavy, even for them. Suddenly, there was a loud thud. One of the robots lost its grip, and a box tumbled to the ground, spilling out a missile more than 2 meters long. Idiot, the boss said to hold on tight. A B-1 robot scolded, gesturing towards its counterpart struggling with a heavy box. No, this box is heavier than my engine's capacity. You should request an extra robot from the boss, its companion retorted. And how am I supposed to get an extra robot to lift it? Well, it could be placed on top of the box. That's a brilliant idea. I'll report it to the boss. Idiot, the boss is standing right behind you. Enough with the nonsense. Get to work, a human crew member bellowed from behind them. Roger, Roger! Roger, Roger! The two B-1 droids quickly repositioned the missile into the box, struggling to lift it together. Meanwhile, the comedic exchange between the B-1 battle robots failed to capture Broderick Stone's attention. His focus was entirely on the missile. The Christmas present you mentioned? Ah, yes, the long-blot surface-to-air missiles, Yuri replied with a grin. Considering you're always being pursued by bounty hunters' spaceships, this time the tables will be turned on them. Broderick Stone raised an eyebrow. But a single soldier can't launch this missile, right? Technically no, but I've brought not just the missiles, but also a complete set of missile launch towers. 3 sets, in fact, Yuri explained. These missile launch towers are simple to assemble, and their advanced sensors can even detect stealth aircraft. They're capable of locking onto aerial targets within the atmosphere and guiding missiles to track and attack. Missile tower? Broderick Stone echoed. Exactly, a missile turret, Yuri confirmed. But we can't afford to stay in one place for too long. How do you expect us to use these missile turrets? Scar interjected, visibly frustrated. No, it's actually feasible, Gravel suddenly spoke up. I'm familiar with a desert where the terrain is complex and difficult to detect from the air. If we set up the missile tower there, the next time we're chased by a bounty hunter's spaceship, we can lure them to that location. Then, 2 days later, at a maintenance factory on the outskirts of Mos Eisley, the sound of gunfire echoed relentlessly. 10 Pathfinder-class light attack vehicles circled the factory at high speeds. Their dual-mounted 6-barrel remote-controlled machine guns unleashed a barrage of bullets, piercing through the factory's masonry exterior and devastating everything within. The factory guards attempted to retaliate with blaster guns, and the blaster machine guns, mounted atop the building, fired back fiercely. However, the overwhelming disparity in firepower was evident. A relentless storm of bullets obliterated every defensive position in moments, tearing through anything and everything in its path. Attachment 1 of the Easter egg chapter, APOD 33, Quantradine's transport aircraft, a reference to the Starcraft human transport aircraft. Vol 2 Chapter 136, Ghidorah running out of ammunition. More than a dozen small spaceships of bounty hunters swooped down from the sky, their engines roaring menacingly as they descended. A series of energy blasts exploded upon the ground, sending up clouds of dust and debris. The bounty hunters are here! Go! Broderick Stone's voice crackled over the communication channel. 10 Pathfinder-class light attack vehicles immediately sprang into action, their remote-controlled turrets swiveling to unleash a barrage of fire into the air. This time, more than a dozen bounty hunters had joined the fray, a clear sign that Jabba the Hutt was no longer willing to tolerate their presence. Ever since acquiring the light assault vehicles, the Gravel Gang's range of activities had expanded significantly. They had become a thorn in the side of Tatooine, harassing factories and villages alike. Despite their efforts, the attack on Ghidorah's palace had been progressing slowly, prompting Jabba to take decisive action. Broderick Gravel and his crew were known for their cunning and exceptional driving skills. They maneuvered the vehicles with erratic patterns, making it difficult for the bounty hunters to land their shots. The turret's fire created a defensive net, while the crew members leaned out of the windows, firing bazookas and machine guns into the sky. Previously, the team would have headed for the hills and mountains, using the complex terrain to vanish from the spacecraft's radar. However, this time, they had a different destination in mind, a purposeful drive towards a Gobi desert. The bounty hunter ships, hot on their trail, were caught off guard when several missiles suddenly appeared, colliding head-on. 2 ships were hit and exploded mid-air, turning into fiery wrecks that plummeted to the ground. In the Gobi, 3 makeshift missile towers stood tall, each about 9 meters high. Equipped with a fire control system and radar in the center, and dual-mounted missile launchers on each side, these towers were a formidable defense. The missiles, once locked onto their targets, launched with a burst of flame, leaving the low-flying spaceships with no time to react. Another ship was shot down amidst the chaos. "There's an ambush! Run! Run!" The bounty hunters, realizing the danger, scattered in different directions, with the remaining ships managing to escape. The convoy came to a halt, and Broderick Gravel stepped out of his vehicle, surveying the wreckage of the fallen spacecraft. He laughed triumphantly, the sound echoing across the Gobi. Hidden among the rocks, the 3 missile towers stood proudly, their launchers slowly rotating. These were missile turrets from the Terran Empire in Starcraft, capable of operating fully autonomously, theoretically able to function unattended for 40 years. However, maintenance was often necessary in practice. Yuri Orlov had brought these towers, opting to forgo their outer armor to expedite installation. With the assistance of an SCV, space construction vehicle, brought along for the task, the setup was completed in a single day. The remaining work involved B-1 combat robots salvaging armor plates from the wreckage of nearby ships to reinforce the missile turrets, a task well within their capabilities. Meanwhile, on the outskirts of Mos Espa stood the palace of Ghidorah the Hutt. Nestled in the hills and mountains, the palace was comprised of 3 robust cylindrical buildings, each towering. Surrounded by a siege of over 50 meters, the palace stood defiantly, its perimeter fortified with formidable anti-aircraft firepower. Hundreds of bounty hunters encircled the structure, unleashing a relentless barrage of gunfire. Some even resorted to using bazookas and mortars, launching periodic attacks against the beleaguered palace. Above, dozens of bounty hunters in the sky added to the onslaught, directing their firepower towards the ground targets. Inside the palace, mercenaries hired at great expense by Ghidorah, along with assassins sent by the Black Sun, mounted a desperate resistance. Surrounding rocks were outfitted with numerous anti-aircraft artillery pieces, a strategic installation that thwarted the bounty hunters' spaceships from conducting indiscriminate aerial bombardments. Despite these defenses, it was clear to any observer that the palace's fall was inevitable. Amidst the chaos, Ghidorah paced anxiously, his plump body moving with an urgency born of desperation. "There must be a way out. There must be," he exclaimed, fixated on finding salvation. "Contact Alexis Garin. I need assistance." "Lord Ghidorah, it's futile. Garin has already done what he could, sending reinforcements. But most of those spaceships were intercepted and destroyed in the outer space of Tatooine," his assistant reported, a tone of defeat in his voice. Ghidorah, refusing to accept the grim reality, gestured wildly. "No. Are we to stand by and watch as Jabba dismantles my operations in Mos Espa, piece by piece? Absolutely not. Lord Ghidorah, I regret to inform you that your assets in Mos Espa have been obliterated." "Nothing remains," the financial accountant interjected softly. Another bounty hunter chimed in, "And it seems Jabba has enlisted a formidable group of bounty hunters. They pilot a black Hammerhead-class cruiser, seemingly invincible. The convoy sent by Lord Garin was decimated by them. They've quickly gained notoriety around Tatooine. Since their identities are unknown, they've been dubbed the Black Ships." "That's correct. The Black Ships leave no survivors, not even sparing escape pods. The aftermath is always total annihilation. No one dares to resupply us now, the financial accountant added grimly. Lord Ghidorah, perhaps it's time to consider retreating to Nishada. It's closer to Nal Hutta, and with the Hutt Grand Council's influence, Jabba might hesitate to pursue us further. We need to think about survival, the assistant suggested. Ghidorah slammed his fist on the table, his voice filled with defiance. Absolutely not. Returning to Nishada means losing everything. It took me 50 years to establish a presence on Tatooine. I refuse to be ousted so easily. But Lord Ghidorah, we're running out of ammunition and food. At this rate, we can hold out for no more than 2 days, the assistant argued, his voice rising in desperation. Ghidorah was momentarily speechless, his retort stifled by the grim reality of their situation. It was then that another voice emerged from the corner, offering a glimmer of hope. Lord Ghidorah, do we not still have one last force to resist with? Attachment 1 of the Easter egg chapter, Starcraft, Terran Missile Tower. Vol 2, Chapter 137, The Slug is Hooked. Ghidorah's eyes sparkled with a sudden interest as he eagerly inquired, Who is it? Who still dares to resist? Broderick Gravel, came the unexpected reply. The Gravels have taken over Mos Eisley, where Jabba has fortified himself. They're wreaking havoc, demolishing factories, crippling spaceports, and pillaging villages. The reason Jabba hasn't been able to focus his efforts on us is largely due to Broderick Gravel's interference, the informant added. Ghidorah's expression darkened instantly. Broderick Gravel, those lunatics, if they hadn't hijacked the Bounty Knight sprinter race, Jabba wouldn't have been able to corner me like this, he exclaimed. The Grand Man, with his 3 swaying eyes, advised, Lord Ghidorah, if you wish to avoid returning to Narsada in disgrace, never to hold your head high among the Basadi family again, and to avoid being reduced to a mere figurehead, Broderick Gravel might be our only hope. With a heavy sigh, Ghidorah settled into his massive seat, deep in thought. After a long pause, he said reluctantly, Then, make contact. Let's hear what they have to say. Right away, the Grand Man responded, promptly activating the communicator to dial a frequency. Soon, a holographic projection of Broderick Gravel materialized. His appearance was intimidating, with fierce features and mechanical arms attached from the shoulders down, adding to his formidable presence. Ghidorah, Sir, Broderick Gravel began with a sneer, what could a person of your stature possibly want with me? Still holding a grudge, are you? The bounty on your head was a misunderstanding. It was Jabba's doing, not mine. I actually wanted to, well, look after you, Ghidorah blurted out, his words not quite aligning with his thoughts. Humph. Regardless of who's after me, I'm still here, and I won't trouble you any further, Broderick Gravel retorted before abruptly ending the communication. Wait, you insolent fool. When has Ghidorah ever been treated with such disrespect? Ghidorah fumed. You are now, the accountant muttered under his breath. Contact him again. Immediately, Ghidorah demanded. The Grand Man quickly re-established the connection, and Broderick Gravel's projection flickered back to life. If you have something to say, make it quick. I'm about to commence construction on a spaceport. I want to, Ghidorah started, struggling to find the right words. Just as Broderick Gravel was about to disconnect again, Ghidorah blurted out, I want to hire you, and I'm willing to pay a premium, a very high price. A high price? Broderick Gravel scoffed. Where would you get the funds? I'm a Hutt. Money is the least of my concerns, Ghidorah declared, though his glance at the mercenaries around him betrayed his uncertainty. If you help me fend off Jabba, I'll pay whatever it takes. 500 million, a billion. Name your price. Empty promises. I see no tangible benefits. Can you provide me with a spaceship right now? How about 500 kilograms of blast gas? Mortars, rocket launchers, anti-aircraft missiles. Can you supply those? Broderick Gravel challenged, leaving Ghidorah at a loss for words. Observing Ghidorah's defeated look, Broderick Gravel snorted dismissively. If there's nothing else, I'll be on my way. Goodbye. Wait, Ghidorah pleaded. What is it you want? Speak up, Broderick Gravel demanded. I've already told you. Mortars, rocket launchers, and anti-aircraft missiles. Deliver them, Broderick Gravel stated coldly. Ghidorah's eyes narrowed as her mind raced, the once formidable Hutt leader finally regaining a semblance of her former cunning. You and Jabba are sworn enemies, but you'll never win this war. You can't kill a Hutt in Hutt space. Even if Jabba can't touch you now, you're doomed in the long run. And your point is? Broderick Gravel asked, unimpressed. We can form an alliance. Together, we can eliminate Jabba. You have the means, and with Jabba gone, Tatooine will be ours for the taking. Half of it could be yours, Ghidorah proposed, a glimmer of hope in her voice. Ghidorah's voice boomed. Join us. The room fell silent, all eyes on the figure known as Crushed Stone, who returned Ghidorah's gaze with a dark, contemplative look. Outside, the cacophony of gunshots and explosions grew louder, signaling another assault by Jabba's bounty hunters. Ghidorah, visibly anxious, alternated her gaze between the turmoil outside and Crushed Stone. Despite her anxiety, she hesitated to press further. After a tense moment, Crushed Stone finally spoke. Fine, I'll align with you, but let's get one thing straight. All military operations will be under my command. Ghidorah nodded eagerly. Absolutely, you call the shots. I'll provide the resources, and you bring your expertise. Together, we can easily take down Tatooine. Her words elicited snickers from those around them. First, I need to know where your palace's secret passage leads, Crushed Stone demanded. Ghidorah faltered, aware that revealing this information would place her fate entirely in someone else's hands. Yet, with a determined grit, she whispered the coordinates into Crushed Stone's ear. Meanwhile, in a distant part of the desert, Broderick Gravel ended a call and turned to Yuri Orlov with a sly grin. Ghidorah took the bait. Yuri responded with a slight smile and relayed the message through his communicator. Ghidorah took the bait. Back at the command center of the Glory Mothership in the Endor system, Baron Helmut Zemo approached Tang Xiao, leaning in to whisper. Ghidorah took the bait. Tang Xiao nodded, pleased. Inform Mr. Chi that the Engineering Research Department must collaborate. We need additional desert warfare equipment. Zemo added, now that Ghidorah has taken the bait, we should also make a move regarding Black G. We need to gain an advantage over Jabba and earn his favor. Plus, we'll require extra leverage in Tatooine to smooth things over for Broderick Gravel and manage Jabba. I'm concerned, Tang Xiao admitted. If Broderick Gravel can't withstand Jabba's pressure, our plans might falter. Do we have a strategy to buy us the necessary time and space? A cunning smile played on Baron Zemo's lips. Under normal circumstances, Jabba would seize this victory, dominate Tatooine, and crown himself king. But now, well, let's just say we have a few tricks up our sleeve. Vol 2, Chapter 138, Story History. In the dusty, wind-swept planet of Tatooine, within the port of Mos Esper, the remnants of a once bustling trade hub lingered. The port, previously under the control of Ghidorah the Hutt, had turned into a battlefield following her conflict with Jabba. Bounty hunters and mercenaries clashed in its streets daily, transforming Mos Esper into a living nightmare. Beneath the chaos, in a dimly lit basement, a young voice broke the silence. Johnson, please tell me another story. A weary voice responded, Not now, Anakin. It's too dangerous outside. Bounty hunters might be lurking nearby. A frail female voice interjected, Tell him, Johnson. We've got nothing left to lose. Mom, when did you wake up? Rest now. I'll head out with Johnson to find some antibiotics as soon as night falls, the boy insisted. I don't know how much longer I can hold on. If you get a chance, run. Leave this place and never return. The woman whispered weakly. Mom, I won't leave you. I promise. I'll check Walter's place for medicine tonight, the boy declared with determination. Walter, if he catches you, he'll beat you, the mother cautioned. Mom, junk dealer Walter is no more. The boy's voice turned somber. 3 days ago, bounty hunters falsely accused him of being Ghidorah's ally and killed him. After a moment of silence, the woman softly said, Johnson, please tell Anakin a story. Anakin, where did you hear this story? Suddenly excited, the boy exclaimed, I know. It's about the great invasion of the galaxy by the Suzheng Agreement. Their Reaper fleet had the Citadel surrounded. At that time, Earth's fleet had just been defeated at Reach and couldn't come to the rescue. Commander Shepard, to save the Citadel, piloted the Normandy straight into the heart of the Reaper fleet. That's not just a story, Anakin. It's history. The weary voice corrected him gently. A history from another galaxy. Okay, history then. Please, tell me more. I want to know what happened to Master Chief after the Battle of Reach. Without him, Earth's fleet wouldn't have stood a chance. Anakin pleaded eagerly. All right, we'll continue. We have only 20 minutes today. Then, I must venture out for antibiotics, the voice conceded. Their whispers were muffled by the thick basement planks as darkness enveloped Mos Esper. The city, lit sporadically by still-burning flames, descended into a deeper shadow. Shouts, gunshots, and the occasional explosion punctuated the night, composing a symphony of despair for the beleaguered city. My lord, my investigation has made significant progress. The leader of Bando Gosa is Komari Wosa, a former member of the Jedi Order who was expelled, Tang Xiao reported, his figure shrouded in a black cloak within the secret chamber of the Mothership. He addressed the holographic image before him, musing on the peculiar fashion choices of Jedi Knights and Sith Lords alike, both favoring cloaks, yet failing to recognize each other by their color preferences. Why would an exiled Jedi join a religious terrorist organization like Bando Gosa? Darth Plagueis inquired, puzzled. The Jedi Order had been tracking Bando Gosa, but as usual, acted too slowly. During an operation, Komari Wosa was captured and subjected to torture by the terrorist group, breaking her spirit. That ordeal drove her to madness, leading her to join and eventually rise to the top of the organization, Tang Xiao explained. Hey, how ironic. Jedi Knights, Darth Plagueis sneered, but you've yet to discover their ultimate goal, haven't you? All current evidence suggests that Ghidorah the Hutt is conspiring with the Black Sun and Bando Gotha to assassinate you, aiming to prevent you from aligning with Jabba and delivering a critical blow to her, Tang Xiao explained. Darth Plagueis, showing signs of impatience, retorted, No, this isn't sufficient. There has to be more to it. Even with Ghidorah, Bando Gosa, and Black Sun combined, they wouldn't pose a significant threat to me. There must be another force at play. I'm certain of it. He waved his cane in frustration. Tang Xiao, hiding a smirk, decided to dangle more intriguing information. While I haven't uncovered further details, I stumbled upon a fascinating piece of intel. Out with it, demanded Darth Plagueis. Komari Wosa, once a Jedi Knight, was an apprentice of Master Dooku, Tang Xiao revealed. Master Dookie's apprentice? Darth Plagueis exclaimed, caught off guard by this revelation. Yes. However, I must apologize, my lord, for my limitations in investigating the Jedi Knights. Thus, this lead ends here, Tang Xiao expressed, feigning regret. Darth Plagueis fell into a contemplative silence. Tang Xiao, maintaining a stoic expression, knew that by disconnecting Bando Gotha from Master Dooku, Darth Plagueis' suspicions would shift towards the Jedi Order. With Master Dooku being a Jedi he could potentially influence through his other prominent apprentice, Darth Sidious, also known as Senator Shiv Palpatine of Naboo. Unbeknownst to Darth Plagueis, it was actually Palpatine who orchestrated the assassination plot. The rights to import and export plasma from the mines on Naboo served as the perfect lure for Palpatine to forge this deadly alliance between Naboo, the Black Sun, Bando Gosa, and Ghidorah. As long as the involvement of Ars Varuna, the king of Naboo, remained a mystery, Darth Plagueis would be unable to grasp the full extent of the conspiracy. Tang Xiao was privy to this information only because he was familiar with the storyline. In the original plot, Darth Plagueis narrowly escaped the assassination attempt thanks to a warning from Jabba. Now, Tang Xiao was leveraging this knowledge to further gain Darth Plagueis' trust. Darth Plagueis, seemingly pleased with Tang Xiao's report, commended him. I am impressed by your resourcefulness. Tang Xiao, join me on the planet Sojolun in 3 days. By then, you should be adequately armed. Vol 2, Chapter 139, Hunter's Moon. In the outer reaches of the Milky Way, within the Carleon sector of an uncharted galaxy, a hidden gem lies 3 standard days away. Sojourn, a modest satellite orbiting a desolate planet, spans just over 2,000 kilometers in diameter. Despite its size, it boasts a hospitable climate, lush vegetation, and stable landforms. For tens of thousands of years, since the inception of the Interstellar Banking Association, Sojourn has served as the pinnacle of luxury and secrecy for its meetings. With the rise of the Sith Empire, it transformed into a clandestine outpost for Sith Lords. The Galactic Republic and the Sith Empire's war laid waste to this stronghold, its reconstruction shrouded in mystery. Sojourn's coordinates are absent from all known star maps within the Galactic Republic, its existence known only to a select few. Even among the invited, the planet's precise location remains a closely guarded secret, a testament to the Sith Lord's penchant for mystery. Among the galaxy's most corrupt and influential elite circulates the legend of the Hunter's Moon, a tale far removed from the notorious smuggler's moon of Nishada at the heart of Hutt space. Sojourn, or the Hunter's Moon, is enveloped in an enigmatic aura, its visitors returning with tales that incite envy and admiration. A converted priest-class shuttle glides through the skies, making its way to this secluded world. It lands near an ancient castle, nestled amidst mountains and rivers, its grandeur spanning at least a 10-kilometer radius. The castle's surroundings are breathtaking, with a nearby waterfall casting a refreshing mist over the area. At the heart of the castle, an extravagant banquet unfolds. Guests from across the galaxy, adorned in exquisite animal skin attire, embrace their primal instincts, casting aside societal norms to revel in their most untamed desires. These attendees, high-ranking figures of the Milky Way, had vied fiercely for an invitation, eager to gain the favor of the evening's host, Kigo Damask II, former chairman of the Interstellar Banking Association and head of the Damask Holding Group. Esteemed even by the current chairman, Kigo Damask II commands unparalleled respect. Beautiful women, hand-picked from across the galaxy and dressed in sheer tulle, weave through the crowd, serving delectable barbecued delicacies. These women, chosen for their unparalleled beauty, are as much a part of the banquet's extravagance as the cuisine itself. The host, standing atop a large rock, addresses the crowd with fervor, announcing the evening's hunt. In 30 minutes, we commence the next hunt. Our quarry? The Morphs octopod, a species extinct for 100,000 years, now resurrected through the efforts of Mr. Black Yi and the cloning expertise of Kamino's finest. These apex predators from Planet Lowen's ancient past are fierce and merciless, but tonight they shall be our feast. He continues, his voice charged with excitement. The third abdominal muscle of the Morphs octopod is renowned as the galaxy's most succulent barbecue. Who among you will claim this prize? Remember, the victor will also receive the first kiss and embrace of the night's most beautiful maiden, Liz from Corellia. Laughter and eager anticipation fill the air as the guests' eyes, alight with a primal hunger, fixate on the human woman on stage, her beauty unparalleled. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation, the promise of the hunt igniting a wild fervor among the assembled elite. The shuttle doors opened, and Tang Xiao, cloaked in black, stepped out. Immediately, 2 guards clad in silver uniforms approached, saluted him with respect, and escorted him towards the castle's depths. They passed a scene of a carnival banquet in the corridor, but Tang Xiao remained uninterested, his gaze fixed ahead, indifferent to the surrounding beauties, delicacies, and wild festivities. Tang Xiao's attention was solely on the castle itself. It was an ancient structure, built from stones that were tightly fitted together without any mortar. Moss and vines clung to the stone's surface, and the areas frequently tread upon showed little wear over thousands of years, only appearing slightly smoother. Clearly, these were no ordinary stones. As they ventured further inside, they encountered numerous reliefs carved into the walls. The craftsmanship was primitive and untamed, capturing the most depraved desires with exaggerated expressions. These reliefs, remnants of the Sith Empire, were inscrutable to most, yet as Tang Xiao walked past them, something within him stirred. The dark side within him seemed to resonate with the twisted forms on the walls, which appeared to come alive, contorting and writhing as if uttering vile curses upon all living beings. Involuntarily, Tang Xiao's eyes reddened, and a fierce desire for destruction surged within him. He yearned for war, for conquest, to subjugate the galaxy beneath his feet. With the Fourth Civilization's technology at his disposal and the vast knowledge within the Mothership's database, he possessed the means to dominate the galaxy. And with his unparalleled mastery of the dark side, even surpassing that of the Sith Empire's emperors, he believed himself destined to rule over the galaxy. However, a sudden realization jolted Tang Xiao back to reality, his back drenched in cold sweat. Merely wandering through the ruins of the ancient Sith Empire had nearly ensnared his mind, transforming him into a monster driven solely by the dark side's lust for violence. The reliefs embody the will of the Sith. Darth Plagueis' voice unexpectedly broke the silence. Tang Xiao hadn't noticed his approach, but there he stood, holding a red and black rectangular box. Even I cannot fully decipher their meanings. Yet, when one connects with the dark side, these reliefs imprint their will directly, into the observer's mind in their unique manner. "Your Highness, I have come as summoned," Tang Xiao replied, bowing his head, his voice a mix of reverence and a newfound caution, aware of the dangerous allure of the dark side's power. Vol 2, Chapter 140, Will of the Sith. In the dimly lit chamber, Darth Plagueis observed Tang Xiao with a discerning eye. "Tang Xiao, your recent endeavors have revealed your ambition and loyalty. More importantly, I've witnessed the boundless potential within you," he stated, his voice carrying a weight that filled the room. Tang Xiao bowed his head, choosing to remain silent. "Yet, despite your increasingly adept use of the Force, you remain ignorant of its true essence on the dark side." Darth Plagueis continued, gesturing towards the intricate relief carved into the wall. "This represents merely the surface of the dark side's vastness. However, it suffices for a lifetime of study. Grasping the core of the dark side's power can amplify your strength, propelling you to the pinnacle of the galaxy." In response, Tang Xiao raised his hand, summoning a bolt of lightning to crackle between his fingers, a manifestation of the dark side's raw power. Darth Plagueis nodded approvingly. "I've noticed your self-taught mastery of Force lightning. Impressive. It's a testament to your untapped potential, which intrigues me greatly. I cannot fathom a future devoid of your mentorship. It's unthinkable. Your guidance is crucial for my advancement on the Sith path," Tang Xiao admitted, his voice laced with sincerity. "Had it not been for your intervention, I might have been ensnared by the allure of these ancient reliefs," he added, acknowledging his vulnerability. Darth Plagueis' tone turned icy. "If you're so easily swayed by the will of ancient Sith, it suggests I've overestimated you, Tang Xiao. Do not use your inexperience as a shield. I've faced the dark side's might far greater than this, and still maintained my resolve, leveraging my intellect within the Interstellar Banking Association and the Damask Holding Group. You have much to learn." Tang Xiao inhaled deeply, his fear palpable. The Sith's will, enduring for millennia, must never be underestimated, he conceded. With a gentle wave of his hand, Darth Plagueis sent a rectangular box gliding towards Tang Xiao. The box, an amalgamation of red and black hues, was angular and exquisitely crafted. Despite its metallic appearance, it was surprisingly light and cool to the touch, defying the expected heft of metal. Tang Xiao attempted to open the box, but found no visible lock. He glanced at Plagueis, who remained silent, prompting Tang Xiao to close his eyes and explore the box with his dark side powers. He sensed a lock mechanism within, seemingly integrated with a crystal. However, a more alarming discovery was the presence of a monstrous entity lurking inside the box. This creature, beyond the scope of words, appeared as a mass of tentacles and barbs, its body armored with vicious scales. Its gaping maw, filled with razor-sharp teeth, dripped with remnants of flesh and blood. The mere sight of it was overwhelming. Tang Xiao's instinct was to recoil, but the creature guarded the crystal lock. To access it, he had to confront the beast. As his force energy neared the creature, it revealed its ferocity. The moment they connected, Tang Xiao was inundated with primal emotions, hatred, rage, envy. The beast voraciously consumed his force energy and consciousness, starved for fresh prey after millennia of hunger. But the terror didn't end there. Deeper within the box, more monstrous entities emerged, each distinct and horrifying. In the midst of an almost indescribable horror, Tang Xiao gritted his teeth, enduring the assault of monstrous entities. He fought against their sharp claws and writhing tentacles, determined to unlock the mysterious box that held his attention captive. "Is this the extent of your capabilities, Tang Xiao? To be cornered by mere remnants of the dead?" The voice of Darth Plagueis echoed, taunting him. The provocation sent a jolt through Tang Xiao's heart, sharpening his resolve. Casting aside his hesitation and fear, he summoned all his strength and launched a fierce counterattack against the creatures. With a determined effort, he heard the satisfying click of the lock giving way. As the box opened, a blood-red book lay quietly inside, its cover adorned with an ancient word inscribed in a dark font, Sith. This was the Book of the Sith, a forbidden tome chronicling the deeds and wills of Sith lords through the ages. Though incomplete, its pages had been painstakingly collected by Darth Plagueis over decades. As Tang Xiao lifted the book from its confines, the castle's reliefs seemed to animate, twisting and contorting as they emitted piercing laughter and screams. Even the sunlight filtering through the windows took on a sinister hue, casting terrifying shadows upon the ground. Tang Xiao did not dare to open the book immediately. Instead, he fixated on the word Sith on the cover, allowing the gravity of its meaning to sink in. To accept the will of the Sith was to declare war against the galaxy itself. Discovery by the Galactic Republic and the Jedi Order would lead to relentless pursuit and annihilation. The burgeoning Fourth Civilization, along with the planet Dawn, would face obliteration under the might of star destroyers. The thought of orbital bombardments stripping away atmospheres, evaporating water, and leaving nothing but rolling lava as a testament to their existence filled Tang Xiao with a vision of apocalypse. Yet, from the depths of despair, a fierce determination ignited within him. Why should we be exterminated? Why should the Fourth Civilization fall? He questioned inwardly, his resolve hardening. The Fourth Civilization shall rise to dominate the galaxy, and I shall ascend as its emperor. With renewed conviction, Tang Xiao opened his eyes, his gaze piercing through the cosmos with the sharpness of an eagle. It seems you've come to a profound understanding, Darth Plagueis observed. Now, accept your weapon. He presented Tang Xiao with a metallic mechanical hilt, adorned with a solitary button. Tang Xiao knelt, accepting the hilt with both hands. He caressed the cold metal, feeling its weight and promise, before pressing the button. But nothing happened. No lightsaber ignited, no power surged forth. Only the hilt grew slightly warm in his grasp.